evening, guys. We have Guild Greyman prepping here at my side. How has your week been, guys? I hope your week has been great. Mine has been pretty good. I can't complain.
Well,
So,
it was supposed to be snowing today, but it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good.
Hey, Nick. Good to see you. Good to see you, Venerable Owl. Prepper for the ages. Good to see you, too. Yeah. That is those who has joined so far.
I did have one good thing to go on this week. When I was working out in the shop, putting up all the siding, the OBS on the inside and on the ceiling and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was so friggin' cold out there. I had a couple propane heaters going. Well, propane heaters give off moist exhaust. So you get moisture being put off by it. Well, I didn't realize up in the attic area before I had the ceiling put in, it was condensing on the wood, because basically it was wood and the metal sheeting on it, no insulation up there. And I had mold growing around, and I actually got some stuff.
Hey, baby, good to see you.
Called BioS that I was trying some other stuff, got some mold control from Home Depot and stuff, and the other stuff just wasn't working it. But this stuff killed it all off, so it's like, yes, now I don't have to worry about the stuff growing back here on me.
Baby, you know the drill. I have pinned the StreamYard link in the top of the chat. So when you are up for it, you know the drill. Just click the link and join us.
Okay, so hang on, what's going on over here? Okay, I see what's going on.
Hey, Diors, good to see you, brother.
Hey, guys, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
Excellent, yeah.
All right.
Sorry, it's the first time using this headset for this stream, so I'm just curious to know if it works all right.
Yeah, it works perfectly from my side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, PV, good to see you, brother.
PV, how you doing?
We are doing good. I had actually a 3-kilometer long hike with the church today. They call it a pilgrim's hike, so with snowshoes. In the area in the national park we were hiking, there were 1.5 meters snow, so that was really fun. Hey, Vanessa, Kitty, good to see you.
Sorry, what was that? Right? You're doing okay.
Gil, you all right? Dios, you all right?
Yep.
Good drills on the hit and run drive over there, by the way.
Thank you.
If anyone hasn't seen it, go to Dios's channel, and his last video, good little set of actions that he intervened with there. So yeah, good. It's 10 out of 10 for that. There should be more people out there, willing to commit and do what you did. So well on you. I
appreciate the recognition.
Hey, no worries. Good to see you.
So you're saying it's snowing there, Shadow?
Yeah, we got probably a decimeter, but in that national park, there were 1.5 meter of snow. So,
right. Well, it's warmed up here, windy but warm. It's gone up to about 17 degrees all of a sudden.
But,
yeah. I've moved location.
Hey, Hedgehog, good to see you.
I'm in a location which is the signal's a bit temperamental, so if I get cut off or anything, you'll know why. But
Yeah.
Should be okay. I'm on a 5G, but it's sporadic depending on how many people hooked onto the antenna.
CR is here.
Yeah, CR is here. That's good.
CR, how you doing?
How are you doing, CR? I hope you
CR.
have some food to eat before you join the stream, buddy. We haven't
Yeah.
always a tendency to get into food for some reason.
By the way, I'm not going to be able to see any of the comments right now. And I also can't guarantee my phone signal will be all that good.
Mm.
Well, it's okay.
So
Hey,
if I drop
Courtney.
out, you'll know that
Hey,
there's a
Courtney,
dead
good
zone.
to see you.
Roger that.
Mm.
13 in the house. That's good. So, guys, today's topic: why write logbooks, journals in a SHTF scenario? Pretty simple, actually. You need to keep track on things that happens from the first day, because
Yeah.
you can't remember everything. That's impossible. You forget things, so write it down so you have it, and keep those books safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say
And
it's not just... Sorry, go on.
And there are also different, let's say if you're a group, and if you have one responsible for the security, one responsible for the medical field, and one carpenter and one gardener, farming guy, woman, they need to have journals. But the most important thing is the medical field. And why? Because they need to write down for every have a book for every person in that group. So if somebody gets sick with odd symptoms, stomach ache, odd rashes that doesn't look like normal rashes, fever, everything. If they feel like they're going to throw up or things like that, you need to document it, have that documented.
Yeah, especially if in the beginning of a situation where things are in flux and not going on, if you could document, all right, especially for medical, all right, what did you eat different? Yeah, because there could have been something that scrounging for food, and they could have ate something that was different that everybody else ate, and that's what it was that caused it. It could be like trumpet flour, or they ate something else. They ate something they shouldn't have been eating, and that way you could document. Okay, everybody, stay away from this plant because this causes this. And that way you have documentation of what's going on, and you can compare who's doing what.
Yeah, it's definitely a good idea if you're cooking for a load of people and you're in charge of a cooking facility. That can quite easily be achieved. If you're just plowing through your personal preps, most people will probably just take what's out there, cook a meal and crack on. They probably know what they've eaten, but definitely in a cookhouse scenario or a dining facility, that's definitely a key scenario. And you can always afterwards, you can keep a record and log of how much waste there is compared to what you've started off with, so you can trim down and get more efficient over time.
Yeah,
I'd say a log or a journal, for me, it's almost like a scrapbook of information. So anyone listening to any sort of podcast or watches videos or reads any books or anything like that, especially these live feeds, they're like gold dust. People should be taking notes all the time and writing them down, all the key little elements that pertain to them, their own personal situation. Because, someone could just come out with a sentence in a complete 2-hour live feed, and it will be one that really benefits that person in listening. So, you know, for me, it's a case of it's part of my preps, and it's already started before any sort of event, and you're writing things down and writing diagrams down, wiring diagrams for things that you might need. And like I say, it's personalized to your needs and not from a generic book. So you might get a generic manual on electrics, for instance, but you just cherry picking the bits that are important to you and writing them down in such a way that they're easy for you to understand in your group, because we're not all electricians and stuff like that. We're not all medical specialists and so on. And it's those sorts of key things that I take note of, especially diagrams. Especially, I like diagrams. Easy.
One of the things that came to mind, I was talking to Jordan about this beforehand. Think back to World War II, the Diary of Anne Frank. So much information was recorded in there, what was going on in and around and what they were doing.
He froze.
Yeah, frozen.
Yep.
He'll jump in time in a minute.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
Gil.
Yeah, wait. He's back.
I'm back. Yeah, lost communications between the camera and the computer. And, so for historical stuff, there's a journal can be absolutely valuable, not only for your family, but others interested to know what actually happened, what was going on in your area during this great event that caused all these problems. And so having a journal not only helps you to remember things, but passes on your feelings, your struggles to your kids, grandkids, great grandkids, so that they understand the history of their family and how their family survived this event.
Yeah, that's so it's more like a post information accumulation of information. You're logging things as you go along. Yeah, definitely.
But then there's something else. Sorry, go ahead.
Go on. No, go on.
Okay. All right. One of the things is that that popped up to me when I saw this. That hit me. It's like, why have a journal to cover your butt?
I was going to say the same thing.
Documenting what happens, and it's like, so you have a person over security. He should be his journal should be huge. Everybody should be reporting to him things they see, what happened, what's going on, so they can document what's going on around them. And so when if they have to have a violent confrontation with somebody, all the reasons are documented, what happened beforehand and why.
The approximate times.
Yes. Just like a police log, what happened, who did what, why it happened this way, what other alternatives you tried to use that failed. And that way, because government, society's going to come back. There's going to be, law and order is going to come back. And so some people, there are going to be those that want to hold everybody responsible for everything they did. And so if you need to have, basically it's your insurance policy to keep you from getting in trouble.
Yeah.
That can prevent you from getting to jail when the society come back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, Uncle Al.
You can also record the successes and failures and provide any warnings for any future event. Yeah.
Like I said, when I was in the Navy, we kept logs for everything from checking the statuses of pieces of equipment, doing our hourly rounds.
Yeah, even have logs for your engine.
Yeah, we documented stuff hourly, and then of course, if you were doing any sort of armed security, armed guard duty, whether it be a controlled entry point, manning the caisson, topside roving sentry or something along those lines, or petty officer of the deck, you'd be keeping a log. Not so much the topside sentry, but caisson you would, and controlled entry point you would.
Yeah, that's same with me. Radio logs.
Be tracking the comings and goings of significant people, and like I said, be documenting at the top of the hour, and documenting for the instance for the ship, you'd be also documenting the draft marks as well. See how far down see how shallow or how deep the ship is settling in the water, to let other people on board, let them know they need to empty some ballast tanks. Sorry,
Yeah.
PV.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say same in the army as well. More or less every task or job you do really involves some sort of log, whether it be a radio log, an OP log, driver's hours log nowadays for health and safety reasons. Even in the guard house and the guard room, the actual log they use there is then classed as an official document, which is permissible in court and so on. But taking notes from that sort of side of it, it's the like Gil said, it's a preservation of knowledge and occurrences of what's happened, and when things do come back, they can not only be used as evidence, they can be used as lessons learnt and for after action reviews and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I think
interesting on Vanessa's comment. Did you keep a journal during the pandemic? Well, my journal during the pandemic was a bunch of videos, and that's the thing to consider too. Just because it's an SHTF or TEOTWAWKI situation doesn't necessarily mean that your computer is going to be dead, your video camera is going to be dead. You still might be able to record stuff as well. So besides having written, to have electronic versions as well as a backup is something smart to do too.
Yeah, the pandemic was. I took notes and I formulated my own little after action review because it was obvious that things were going to get back to normal. And looking back on it, I'm glad I did, because the detail has now sort of been forgotten and faded away in the background. And aside from that, you get the instances where the media, the bloggers, the government, everyone else in authority then tries to cover their backsides, and the information gets distorted then to suit their agenda, whether it be covering their own arse or molding the facts and figures to make themselves look good in whatever story they're formulating, So
prevents them from gaslighting people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But that's sort of their active sort of event logs, if you like, aren't they? Like I say, for me, I start now. I've got like a journal going. I've got various prep books that I extract information from, books, videos, blog posts, whatever I read. If it's valuable to me, and it's not just necessarily from those sites, are they? Generator startup procedures, for instance, they get written down in a book, or the wiring diagrams from a battery system, so that it's not just me, it's the rest of the family who knows how to use it, and it's in simplified terms. Anything dangerous.
Well, it's like what you said, before. You also had you're talking about your water purification methods. You wrote down all the instructions. For everybody. So if heaven forbid, like you said, if you were incapacitated or whatever, people still know how to procure safe drinking water for the group.
It may sound simple, but the amount of times I've forgotten how many drops of bleach will purify, a liter of water. Is it 1 drop, 2 drops, 3 drops? I put it in the journal in the end. That, and I've got it here actually. I'll have a look. Things
2
like
drops per liter of water.
So, how many drops of iodine into purified water, bleach, potassium permanganate, all sorts of just little gems of information like that, because when it comes to needing it, you think, oh God, was that 3 drops, 4 drops, 5 drops? And if you get it wrong, some, you know, in various instances, you can start to have dire consequences.
Yeah.
These, I mean, it's golden information like that, or this information, and you know, it can be sought after post-event. Once the events happen, and on, you know, let's say people lost access to the internet and stuff, you can't Google it anymore. Your journal or prepper documents or prepper binder or whatever, you could extract information out of that and copy it, and it could almost become a barter item, if you like. If you got the key resource, you know, we all know knowledge is power, and you got to decide now what is going to be the power and what's going to be the value to you and other people potentially of the information you're sort of logging. You could even just not even bother writing stuff down. You could actually just get, you know, take photos of pages and documents and stuff like that. Save you writing things down, or audio recordings, save them to a USB stick or memory card or stuff like that. So yeah, they come in many formats. But I'm just surprised, you know, any prepper out there who's thinking about any sort of emergency preparedness, disaster preparedness, or end of the world scenario, anything like that, everyone should have a log or journal and with their own sort of valuable snippets written down. I'll be surprised if someone hasn't, because that's, yeah, it's almost, you know, it's part of you're preparing this sort of management regime and all this sort of stuff, really. Even things like, you know, logging how much food you've got, when it's going to be checked, how are you going to check it, the locations of it, and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, you then got to decide how you're going to write it down and all this, what format you're going to put it in as well.
Be a good way to also, I guess, document, you know, your inventory of what you got left.
Yeah, and the one who is medical responsible had to do an inventory list on how much of bandages.
Yeah, you can then
like
allocate someone to be almost like a storeman, if you like. They're in charge of, you know, this is the list of what's stored. Go and check it against what's actually there, and, you know, keep an inventory and stuff.
Yeah.
It's
in the Navy, we called those logistics specialists.
Yeah, definitely. Stores are for storing, all that sort of stuff.
That sounds much better than store master or whatever you want.
Shopkeep or storekeep.
Yeah. Well, you know, and you can also use, because you've got a document there, you've got a binder or a booklet or whatever. I prefer the paper version, because you've documented things. You've then you can keep a timeline and a calendar, and most importantly, through isolated events, you can keep track of time as well. Keep notes of. You can draw timelines up, events coming up, what's happened, how long we got to go to X, Y, and Z, and all this sort of stuff. You can document key resources, like we said, or you can document various skills as well. So, you know, how to operate certain equipment, or reminders about how to do things, shortcuts, check-in schedules, like we said. There's a million and one possibilities and what you actually put in these things, but the more ideas that get banded around, the better, you know.
Yeah.
And if you're part of a group or anything like that.
One of the things, you know, I saw comments up there asking about electronic. How are you going to? Do you have a plan to take care of your electronic stuff? Everyone should have a plan to take care of the electronic stuff. You know, whether it's just a simple single solar panel to charge up a battery to run a laptop or run a tablet or whatever, because, and that's the thing is, you know, everyone thinks, oh, we're having an SHTF situation or a TEOTWAWKI situation, everything's gone. Well, no, everything may not be gone, and you can make a plan to make sure everything is still functional and available for a long time. One of the things that to consider is make sure you have a computer and printer that you can keep it up and running Because if you're writing out logs, some people have a hard time reading other people's writing.
Yeah.
And some people write slow, but they can type really fast. And so they can type out a log and just print it off, throw it in a binder. There you have. And it's one of those things that, if you have multiple ways of doing it, then you're better off all around. But yeah, if you can keep your computer going, and if you're good at typing, or somebody's good at typing, and just type and print, put it in a hard copy binder. That way, if you do lose the computer and all the logs you have in there, you have the hard copy already printed out.
I'm going to springboard off of what Gil said. Something, one of the things that they had us do when we were in the military, one thing, very first things we were taught in boot camp was recruit handwriting. There's a standard way that you're supposed to write everything. You're supposed to write everything in capital block letters. You don't put crosses at the top of your letter J's as in Juliet's. You don't dot your I's. They're just a single slash, like I said, and the J is just a simple hook. And like I said, just capital block letters. And we were also required to write and recruit handwriting whenever we filled out official watch logs or any logs in regards to checking equipment or anything like that when we're doing our rounds. Yeah. Like I said, we were taught that all the way, like I said, early on in the first week of boot camp. And we were expected to maintain that standard even when we were doing official paperwork for the Navy. And if you made a mistake, filling something out on the log, like you misspelled something or you accidentally forgot to add something, you were to just do a single one line across, initial right next to the one line to show that, okay, I made a mistake right here. It's officially admitted, but you're not to scribble it out so it can't be read, that way they can at least see what the mistake was.
Yeah, and can't use whiteout.
Normal. Nope.
Yeah, when I was working for Homeland Security, that was the thing. Whiteout was forbidden because we had a supply person that got all the stationary stuff, and they got all these things to white out. And when the higher ups found about it, they just came in, scooped them all off, put them in the trash, and said no. And told the person, you will not order whiteout ever again. And everyone was told all your reports
and everything was required to be written in black ink on all logs.
No purple, no red. Yeah.
So Vanessa's asking, what are your writing implements? So I favor
instrument.
Writing instruments. I use my favorite one is I use three. First one is a space pen, and I got multiple space pen replacement cartridges. They write on any surface, upside down, all this sort of stuff, and the actual pen lasts longer. And it's a good prep item. It might be a bit on the expensive side when you buy them in bulk, but space pen for me.
Yeah, they're like they're like $15 or $20 a piece.
Yeah, and the other one I use a multicolored pen. So you've got one of these ones where you flick one button down, it's green, then you've got a blue, a red, and a black. So you got like 4 different types of ink, if you like, in one sort of pen. And the other one I use is the good old pencil, because you can just write it down. If you can rub it out, double sharpen it and resharpen it and all this sort of stuff.
Okay, I gotta jump in here on the stupidity of NASA. All right, so for the astronauts going up, our pens don't work up here in zero gravity and stuff, and they spent thousands and thousands of dollars to create a pen.
And the Russians were still using pencils, graphite
pencils.
Yeah, that's something that the Ruskies never let NASA live down.
Over engineering.
But hey, you know what? The civilians actually benefited from it afterwards,
Yeah. One of the things to consider too is the situation you're going to need to be writing. Now I have a book here, the CERT manual thing, but in the back it's has blank pages in it. This is a Write in the Rain book here, and you have Write in the Rain ink, because so you can actually write notes, take notes and stuff down in the rain. And that's the other thing to consider. Most people don't think about, oh, I got to write something down. I'm out on patrol and it's starting to rain. Crap, my pencil's tearing up my paper and my ink pen won't write at all. Write in the rain paper and ink pens.
Yeah, I've got some Write in the Rain books. They're quite expensive for us to buy them here.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the alternative I use is stone paper pads. They're a lot cheaper. There are, by the way, for other people out there, there are alternatives to Write in the Rain just as good and cheaper.
Yeah.
But I personally use, my alternative is a stone paper pad. So stone notebook. And it's actually, the pages are made of stone, but to actually feel them and write on them, they actually feel like plastic. But I'm sure they're actually made of stone. They're not heavy. We're not talking Flintstones type stuff. And it's very durable, and it's just as durable, if not better, than the Write in the Rain stuff, and it's a fraction of the price. So, yeah, if anyone out there wants to, Google stone writing paper or whatever, and it's a thumbs up from me on those ones.
Yeah.
It's interesting enough. We got all this information pre-written down, and we got logs building up over time. People have got to consider the security aspects of what you're writing down as well. Specifically, if you're writing down, locations of caches or supplies or personal family details or medical details and stuff like that. So if you've got to, whatever the content of your notebook is, you've got to afford it the same security that you want to afford that information. So you access control, who's going to read it, who's got access to it, regularly check the location of it, how many pages in it.
All of the paper logs on the Navy ships, like all the paper logs in regards to the comings and goings of people, certain events, anything taking place, they were all classified, if I wasn't mistaken. Like I can't remember now because, like I said, it's been a few years, but I'm pretty certain they were all classified. I don't. They weren't top secret or secret, but they were classified documents. And they were treated as such.
Depends on the content. We used to have top secret.
This one is the size I normally use, but I have a larger one, a little more fancy one.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I always carry one of these little notepads in my spiral bound ones in my pocket, and but we got for the grandkids. My wife picked it up at Walmart. A big box of the 8.5 by 11 notebooks, spiral bound notebooks for the grandkids, and we probably have like 90% of it still left there. And some of the grandkids are getting to the point, that's too much like schoolwork. I don't want to draw on that. So we're going to have notebooks left over to document stuff with. But there are also Vanessa mentioned earlier, there are pre-bound, hard-covered journals that you can buy to write stuff out in.
Yeah. Navy, U.S. Navy, I'm sure probably all the U.S. military branches, they had basically kind of like this OD green generic looking government issue book. It would say official record on it, and then you just write down whatever kind of log book it's going to be, and it would just have like college ruled standard blue lines that you write on.
Yeah. And we bought, one of the things we bought for the grandkids was, the multicolored pencils. Well, some of them they'll start out before they do their drawings first with regular pencils. So we have now boxes of regular pencils is they'll draw out the outline of whatever it is, and then they'll go get the color pencils and fill in the lines. So having regular pencils is good to have in your supplies, because my mom had a roll top desk. I got it here now. And she kept all the ballpoint pens. She had brand new packages of big pens. And 20 years later, they were all dried out. But the pencils she had in there, go along and keep working the pencil.
Yeah. The only problem with pencils, like the erasers will dry out too.
Yeah. Well, that's why you just single line it and continue on.
Yep.
I am human. I make mistakes. Here's my mistake. Initial it, and I continued on.
Yep.
Yeah. So if anyone's got any sort of personal information or anything they want to safeguard, put it in a safe or somewhere like that. You know, don't leave it lying around, because it can come and bite you.
Hey, Gil.
Yeah.
On the Onion News, did you hear about that article about the CIA using black highlighters to highlight everything?
I think that's called redaction.
I thought it was funny as all get out when I first heard that. I love the Onion for that. That was funny.
Well, I have another thing that I got recently. This is really nice.
Yeah.
And you have a little pocket here. You can
A4
put
notepad.
papers.
You'll have to describe it to me because I can't see it. I'm
Yeah.
driving. I'm driving back to Texas right now.
Well, this one is what do you call it?
It's like a leather
It's an A4.
business notebook, hardcover type
Oh,
thing.
okay.
Yeah.
Leather bound notebook.
Yeah, and it has the 8x11 line paper that has the cardboard back, and you just slide it into the pocket.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Yeah,
And you
I
have
haven't seen one.
certain
Basically,
pockets
it's a business one. He's pointing right now to the little clear thing where you put a business card in there.
Yeah, you put the
Yeah.
business cards in here. Yeah.
The other thing that people should probably consider too when they're keeping journals, notebooks, logs, official logs, might want to consider like I said, standard entries. Like standardize exactly what you're putting in. Word it one specific way so that way everybody knows. Okay, this is what happened. This is what this is, and there's no confusion because somebody might write something down a little bit differently than the other person. Classic example, write everything in military standard time. Don't be writing, at 1 p.m. or at, 4 a.m. No, just do 0400 hours or 1335. Maybe do like a standardized date whenever you're doing your log entries. I know at least over here in the U.S., a lot of people like to do month, day, year. Really, it should be day, month, year. And you should be writing out 4 digits for the year.
Yeah, because in a couple centuries, they're gonna go, which century was this one from?
Yeah.
I went and got something here to show you guys. This is what one of the boxes my wife got of binders, the spiral notebook binders for the grandkids, and then boxes of pencils.
Yeah, that looks nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, the good thing about them is they're a low-tech item, and you can do all sorts of them, especially blank page. You can draw pictures and all sorts, keep the kids amused and let them crack on and inspire ideas, mind map things as well, and come up. We're sort of going to come up. So if you any sort of say mechanical problem, engineering problem, electrical problem, and you want to try and work around it, you want to draw it out, come up with different solutions, or you could be drawing a template to make a new item, for instance, with measurements and stuff on it.
Yeah.
It's all good stuff.
I'm going to say like I said, I'm glad you brought up the whole pencil thing again. That's probably, for me, that's going to be the only time that I would say pencil would be permitted in any sort of official log or documents. If you are trying to draw out a detailed, like a detailed diagram or a detailed picture or a sector sketch or something like that, and then you want to go over it in pen to make it permanent, that's the only time I'd say pencil would be permissible. At least for me, I don't know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's all personal preference. You know what I mean? Personally, I'm not really that bothered about keeping any sort of log. For me, it's about the pre-event storage of information. The key ideas pertinent to me and the things I'm more likely to remember or forget. You know.
There was a comment back up there that Utah Mike had made about for architects and stuff. Everything is in capital block letters or is printed, no cursive on if they do upper and lower case. Everything is still printed, not cursive. On blueprints, because you can't have something, because I swear, you want to see the nastiest cursive ever? Go look how a doctor's note. Yeah, doctor's note on a prescription. It's like, and you take it to the pharmacist. You can actually read this. How did you learn to read Sanskrit?
I think for anyone who's got any electronic sort of device, notepad, tablet, phone, they're keeping their information on that. They should think about protecting it from any electrical disturbance, shall we say?
Yeah. There's I've talked about that a bunch. Is that they got the I just lost it, the box thing, the Faraday bags. You can put your tablet in there, seal the Faraday bag, toss it in the microwave for 5 minutes, take it out, and it's fine. So those Faraday bags are great. And one of the things I do for a lot of stuff, I have like 2 terabyte hard drives. I got a bunch of them, and I keep some of them in the Faraday bags. And then when I go to update this one, I get it all updated, and I'll swap them out, and I'll update the other one.
Yeah, I use biscuit tins for my electronics.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. Yeah, well, never thought about biscuits. I like that.
Yeah, Christmas time and all sorts of events like that, all the biscuits get passed around and stuff like that. Save the tin,
tins of popcorn.
Yeah, line it with cardboard or some sort of insulated material. Put your device in there, seal the lid, and that's it. You're away.
Yeah.
But it's paper for me, whether it be stone paper or write in the rain or whatever. But I think when it comes to size, my preference is maximum of A5 and then A6. So pocket size. So then I can just take it with me and stuff like that.
Okay. I just thought of something. From when Vanessa put typeface in there. Who has an old manual typewriter?
I do not.
Well, I do not.
Who has a big pile of carbon paper for it that their mother left them? I got more carbon paper than this that my mom had that she left me, and I got both of her manual and her electric typewriter.
Carbon paper, funnily enough, was classed as a dangerous air cargo item.
Yeah.
It's
I believe it.
Fire. Yeah, so it's spark and fire hazard apparently for aircraft. It's each page, and it's got to be separated by some sort of other medium.
Yeah, it can, carbon paper can go up like flash paper, magician's flash paper.
Yeah. We used to, when I was in the army, every person in my unit used to have an A5 notebook, and it They were called Nirex folders, and it's basically a weatherproof plastic folder. You put all your essential information in there, whether it be orders or your radio net diagrams or all your security information, stuff like that. And
Or coordinates.
no one used pens. Yeah, and no one used pens or pencils for those notebooks. They used to use permanent pens or China graphs, and because they were weatherproof basically. And when it comes to the end of the exercise or in the event of having to wipe it clean, you just use some sort of system of wiping it. So all sorts of alternative methods like underarm deodorant, the spray that gets rid of it, alcohol wipes, Brasso, Duraglit, things like that. Wipe it clean.
Yeah. I just was going back over some of the comments, and I just these are paint markers, not a normal Sharpie. It's not a normal permanent marker. It's actually paint.
So it's like, what size is the nib on those? They thick.
Let me open it up here. So that's the tip. So it's like a regular Sharpie for writing with, but it's for you need to mark something permanently on on a wiring diagram or on something mechanical, and you can write on it. Oh, this uses 90 weight oil. This uses 1030 oil. Right on the cap or whatever. So wrong stuff in there. And I worked when I was working for a construction company with my brother. I was on the fuel truck, and so we use these all the time to write down on the filters. Put a new filter on. We write the date and put the filter on. That way, it's not like a permanent marker, because permanent marker, you get oil on it, it'll go away. This it stayed there permanently.
Mm-hmm.
What I like to do is I like to have little lists in my books. So an immediate action. So if you're anywhere opportunistically when anything kicks off and you have the opportunity to go shopping, or you're in a store or whatever, you've got an immediate list there of the critical items you can stash away in your collapsible sort of shoulder bag or stuff like that.
When I was in high school, I did a lot of drafting. I took drafting for 3 years in high school because it was fun. But I haven't done any drafting since for over 30 years now.
Yeah, it's been about 10, maybe 12 years for me. No, it's been over 10 years. It's been probably about 12 years because I took a couple drafting courses and AutoCAD courses in college.
Yeah, my preference is drawing pictures in simplified terms, so they're just easy to understand for me and everyone else. So, like,
hey, Idaho Garden Girl, good to see you.
Hi, Gigi. So, flick through my book, how to do various climbing hitches, for instance, to abseil without climbing gear and stuff like that. So you draw a little picture of how the rope goes to the carabiner for, say, a Munters hitch or an Italian hitch. Or let's have a look through what else pictures have I got. Simplified picture of a solar system. So a bunch of panels and a wire going to a controller and to batteries and so on and so on and so on. So so the actual detail is quite irrelevant. So things like the solar cables, they're quite unique. They're easy to identify, and you can harvest them from other solar arrays, for instance. So just simplified terms, really. And like I say, batteries, how to wire your battery bank or a series of batteries in parallel and series, and what the implications are, and that sort of stuff. Yeah, that's the sort of thing I find like gold dust, really. And anyone's worked with the batteries, you get the wiring right, can blow up and cause severe consequences.
Yeah.
Especially with the
Lithium.
lithium. Oh yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've seen yours is
Austin.
popped.
Yeah.
I've seen guys back in the 80s and 90s blow batteries up, wet cell batteries, blew them in half. They've got acid over them and stuff. So it's quite a one of those things, a critical safety point. If you've got batteries and you're working with batteries, or you've got the potential to make your own arrays or harvest arrays or anywhere like that, then it's one of those critical items you need to sort of get right or know how to do it beforehand, really.
Mm-hmm.
Same with what I also do is I write down simplified lists of what can be foraged in my area and the uses for them as well. So tea tree oil or plantain, stuff like that, peppermint, lavender. I've got a list here, but I won't go through it. But yeah,
Yeah.
And you can even, if you incorporate maps into your books as well, you can actually put your what's forageable in your area on the back of the map, for instance. So it's all contained in one sort of area.
Yeah, that could be also a part of a scout pack for your scouts, for your group.
Yeah, and you transfer information across from your main sort of book of knowledge, if you like. I mean, these things, they're not. People got to realise it might sound like a simplistic thing to do, but I'll give people an example out there. When I was in Afghanistan, we were working with the Apache pilots, and they had these. Every one of them had these books called. They're called the Blue Brains and the Green Brains, and that was the book of knowledge, if you like. And it was like a critical reference book for them to delve into if they needed to. And this is the sort of thing I'm sort of gearing my content towards, if you like.
Well, you just made me think of something. You're talking about maps and stuff, and then as I was talking about rulers and stuff. Sniper's book. From where you're at, how far out, how many meters out is something is at, and what do you have to set for your elevation and things for which way does the wind generally blow, and so information for the snipers to have for what's going on out there, for if you get the bad stuff happens and someone tries to overrun your position, they can be in there quicker to lock on, and then make their adjustments once they start dispensing the elitist material.
Yeah, I've got one of them in mind. It's where we got that from the army. We call them a range card, and basically you from your sort of position, you look out in sort of 4 or 5 different directions, and you depict whatever range is. There's key obstacles and targets. So if you're looking out into an open field, in that open field, there's one solitary sort of tree in the middle of the field, and on the edge of the field there's a farmhouse. Beforehand, you can document the exact distance it is away. So then you've got an immediate range indication then. And you've also got a reference indication.
Talking about
to
sector.
Sector sort of a target.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, like a target. Yes, similar to that. Yeah, it's like a target indication form that's documented. So you've got, prevailing wind is, you can incorporate environmental values into it as well.
Yeah.
But that will be on a sort of day-by-day basis and seasonal basis.
Exactly.
It's more situational. It's more, what I do is more of a key sort of installation thing. So you can, it negates the need to range find, and it negates the need to point out various obstacles or describe various obstacles to other people. If you can show them the same sort of document, then it's a lot more easier to refer to. It's not an essential. It's just a nice to have, really. And
Yeah.
it's one of those things to do where if you're sat there pondering over things and you're looking out over your yard or your area, you can quite easily draw a sketch and stuff like that. And then it can be, that sort of thing can be incorporated into a sort of a defense plan of your location. So if you're starting to put out people for protection to defend your house, for instance, you can then you got immediately a sort of key indicator and documented picture, if you like, of the key vulnerabilities and what's where, and it cuts down on briefing times for people and showing them things and this sort of stuff. It makes things a lot easier, if you like,
Yeah, going out and drawing pictures of the area, like you said, the tree, the farmhouse, the barn, the well casing, whatever's out there. And everybody can then copy that, and because not everybody's going to be at the same perspective on it, so they draw it out and they go, well, I'm going to be over at a 90-degree angle from my position, so they can. If everything's drawn to scale properly, then it's easy for them to adjust for where they're at. Yeah. And like historical too, it's like, all right, this is what the area looked like when these guys tried to kill us. This is why we had to defend ourselves.
What we do is we put. Funnily enough, if anyone looks at a British Army ration pack or MRE, the operational boxes, on the back of every ration pack, there's a range card on them, so everyone can use one or make their own one up. And it looks like, to look at it, it just looks like a target. It's a series of sort of black circles, but they can do that. But people, if you're going to do things like that, and to make it more locational, you've got to put your sort of your location in, or your grid reference and stuff like that. And if you're going to identify ranges to certain trees or stuff like this, put the sort of magnetic or the compass bearing to it as well. So there's no grey areas about what you're looking at and what you're talking about there. So yeah, it's just another sort of thing you can document and put down there. And also, like I say, we're going back to list as well, lists of gear and actions to take in case you have to do a sort of actions on this event or that event as well.
Yeah.
So standard operating procedures.
Yeah. One of the things that Doris and I have to deal with is the fact that we're in America. And America has more friggin' stupid lawyers than the rest of the world put together. And we got to document everything we do so we don't get sued or go to jail. And that's to us, that's one of the reasons why to write everything down.
Yeah. There's a danger. There's a flip side to all this, especially things like range cards and stuff like that. Because you're then showing any sort of premeditation in any event, and the amount of preppers, especially in Britain, that have, for whatever reason, the police have gone around to their house and they've then been arrested because they've got access to material and they've shown some form of intent and they've shown some form of personal documentation towards the said intent. So. People have got to be wary of what they're actually writing down. It's beneficial to a reason and not so it doesn't become some sort of insidious terror manual, if you like.
Exactly. You want to write down and document. All right. Today we had a nice peaceful meeting with so and so. We're all getting along. Oh, but this other group just came in and they're terrorizing everybody. That way, you have that documented. It's like, and everybody documents that. Then it's going to like, oh, everybody says these guys were the bad guys, really. So that's why it's good to have everybody writing their own personal journal down. And if you're dealing with other groups as well, spread that little tidbit to them. Say, hey, you guys need to be writing everything down. That when somebody's misbehaving, you document it. We document. You got two different groups documenting that. This other group is being the ones being the pain in the butts.
Yeah, an essential thing that I spend a lot of time on in my books is documenting radio information, and what I mean by that is radio theory is a big subject for many people out there, and can become quite technical and overwhelming. But simplistic formulas, for instance, I'll just go through a couple of pages of mine. You know, how to cut an antenna to a certain length for a frequency, the simple formula for that. A radio net diagram, for instance, the frequency ranges for your radios that you have, and the interoperability. What other radios can they talk to, for instance? Can a Bofang, the standard sort of UV5R that every prepper seems to head towards, is that compatible with a Yaesu one, and what modes are compatible? And also things like, as well as a blank sort of radio log portion as well, I've got this is one of the most important ones I always refer to when I'm using radios, is the calling frequencies for various bands. So if you're in the 15 meter band, which is 21 megahertz, people out there, what frequencies do people expect me to come up on initially to call them on in voice, data, or Morse code? They're really essential for me. So yeah, I refer to them all the time, and you can never really remember them as much, because every portion of the spectrum is divided into uses and everything's allocated. So if it's a localized event, you don't want to be coming up on data frequency when you should be on voice, because no one's going to listen to you. They'll be all waiting for you on the voice calling frequency, for instance. Yeah. So yeah, the comms is quite a big portion of my book, and it's also I've even gone down to I've written it down exactly what to say. So if I'm not actually speaking on the radio, someone else can come up and say, CQ, this is call sign, call in, CQ, and so on. Because if no one out there's got a radio license and they don't know what to say, it just helps the receiver to swim along nicely, So yeah, different things like that, and how to make little makeshift antennas, and like I say, formulas, the standard VIR triangle for formulas and stuff like this. The spectrums as well, the spectrum bands. So real basics for a ham user, but it can be quite difficult for people who don't know. So if someone says, call me on UHF, for instance, someone might not even know what the UHF band is. Or the HF, band.
Oh, my daughter just texted me. She needs me over there to watch the kids because Husband spent too much time at the gun range, and he just got home now instead of doing stuff earlier where they could have supposed to do some stuff for one of the kids' birthdays tomorrow. So I got to go over and watch grandkids for about an hour. So I'll be right. I'll be back. I'll be back if you're still going at the end of it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to leave. When I'm streaming to mine, I'm going to leave it up going while I'm gone, so they can listen to you, and I will check back in later.
Yeah.
Yeah. No worries, Gil. Catch you in a bit.
All right.
I was thinking about even listenings posts or observation posts should have their notebooks and put down their information.
Yeah. So I think of it in terms of sort of pre-information, current information, and post-information. So the pre-information, people are seeking out things that will be useful to them. Like I say, whether it be listening to posts, radio, looking at books, manuals, talking to people. So you document the things that you're cherry picking for useful for you. The current information, I'll look at things like actual active logs. So you're documenting what's happening as you go along. for lessons learned, and you can pass that information to other people. Because if you, let's say there's some sort of big electrical disturbance, for instance, and it wipes out half the country, you can take note of the time it happened, how it happened, what's been affected. When you eventually get to an area that could, wants to know what happened, you can then tell them, it lasted this long, it happened at this time, half the street was wiped out, and so on and so on. So that's sort of a log, the way I see a log of information going. And then post information, you could also put in there the lessons you learned alongside your current events, and what you did about them and all this sort of stuff, whether it was irrelevant, rubbish, or useful. It's almost like an active mind on paper. But the more paper people have got, the more people you can do with them, whether that be ripping it up for tinder, or making cigarettes out of it, or paper airplanes, or whatever you want to, keeping the kids amused, drawing pictures, whatever. Once you've got it, you got it. If you haven't, then you're going to start drawing on walls and all sorts. I mean, people can have whiteboards as well, and the whiteboards or blackboards and chalk and stuff like that to band ideas around and mind map and thrash out possibilities. It's all it's very, very, I find it very interesting, because it's good to compare two people's sort of journals and ideas beforehand, because you'd be amazed at what you can find in these things.
The information in those two books would be totally different. And
for instance,
you have your information in your book, and the other guy has his information, and he doesn't know what you know, and you don't know what he knows. So
exactly. And like I said, you could even turn this information into a sort of barter. What do you know? I'll tell you what you know if you tell me what you know, sort of thing. I doubt if you could actually.
And most of the time it works. Most of the time it works very well.
Yeah.
To barter the information.
It's good to, if anyone's going on a course, definitely take your notebook on that course. You might even transcribe it later you might record or video the course you've been on, so that you can, some people aren't quick in writing. So if you record it, you can then go back later on that night or following week or whatever, and then transcribe in your notebook the important bits that you think are relevant to you. Things like first aid courses, how many people can remember how many chest compressions when there's two of you or one of you, or all this sort of stuff. That's why I say, things like, let's say, Dr. Bones and Nurse Amy's medical book, which is targeted specifically at austere and SHTF events when there's no medical aid coming. Those books are really good. I mean, it's good to have books lying around like that, but you can pick information out of that as well, specifically for you. Whether you live in a super cold environment or a desert or whatever. It's
or in Canada or my country.
Key is definitely to tailor the information and organize it to your situation in a format that you understand. That's the key thing, I think. And if you draw pictures, fine, because people don't have to read pictures. They don't have to worry about how you're writing it down or understanding how you've written it. It doesn't matter what language you're speaking. Then everyone understands a picture, or most people anyway. But
most people do.
And another thing as well is handover takeovers. If you're one of the things where a situation all over is handover takeovers, you can write a template of what to say and the essential information that you've got to project to the other person taking over from you. So, for instance, if you're, I don't know, say man in a radio room or whatever, the Radio Shack, and it's being
Yeah.
powered by a generator, you can then pass on the information to the person taking over. The generator was last checked at 1800 hours, and that's a key sort of information you've got to hand over to, or who to wake up next and this sort of stuff. So you can only do this with sort of predefined templates, really. Trying to understand, decipher, or make things up, or thrash things out, remember things once an event's happened is very difficult, because you're then consumed in the event itself. You're worried about how long the event's going to last, and your mind's elsewhere. You might have lost family members, for instance, or friends. You're thinking about those. You start to, SWOT analysis, like Nick says.
I'm not familiar with that. I never heard that one before. So
right. So SWOT analysis is it's a management sort of tool and system that managers go through when they're in a decision-making process. So when let's say your certain item, for instance, a generator, solar generator, for instance, you draw a cross on a board. Top half is strengths, right half is weaknesses, bottom left is opportunities, and bottom right is threats. And you assess how good each piece of equipment is. So the red generator, it's a big generator. It provides 2 kilowatts. However, it uses a lot of fuel. And you just go through it that way. And at the end of it, you can decide which is the best one based on your SWOT analysis that you've just gone through, sort of thing.
Yeah.
If anyone's looking at, if anyone's been involved in project management, SWOT analysis will be a key component of that, and one of the processes people go through to make informed decisions, really. And like a lot of these things, it can be done in your head, or you can actually thrash it out on paper and go dig into the weeds, if you like. But SWOT analysis. So, like I said, I'll give you an example. A lot of people, when they get an injury, a non-critical injury, for instance, they might have a swollen hand, or a blister, or a small cut, and there isn't access to medical aid. People start saying, they initially treat the wounds, and then people start thinking then, you might want to put some of this on, or you might want to put some of that on. But all these little tips and tricks that you would have pre-learnt and pre-written down in your log or journal, you can refer to those. That's one of the benefits, I suppose, of having a medical manual with you, because you'll always refer to that to make sure you made the right decision. But you can also extract that and put it into your own notebook as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So interesting to see and hear what people in the audience there are, how they do things and what they write down, and what type of lists or check-in schedules or reminders they put in their books.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting. I found it fascinating.
Yeah. Another example. So if anyone, a reason to have an information book or log or journal, how many people in their bug out bags have got a Lofty Wiseman SAS survival manual in their book, in their bag? Those little ones. I bet there's quite a lot of people in there who have. I've got one in mine, because basically it's a hive of information. It's got everything you need there, from water to shelter making to fire lighting to trapping, snaring, all this sort of stuff. And it's just, like I say, a goldmine of information. So why have they got that in their bags? Reasons why you'd have a journal or some sort of personalized log, really, I'll suggest. But if anyone's putting in their critical information like emergency contacts or personal details, stuff like that, then you got to consider access control and store it in line with the contents of it, really. It can be difficult. You know, the realization when you pick these things and choose what type of actual book you want for your chosen purpose. A lot of people like me, I didn't realize until after I bought it and started putting information in one of my books that actually it was a bit too small. The pages were a bit too small. There wasn't enough pages in it. And then you start looking elsewhere then, and then you duplicate. It takes a lot of time to duplicate and transfer the information across. So people may want to actually look at little ring binders. Let's A5 ring binders, for instance, so you can keep adding your own pages in there, like Filofax, for instance. Filofaxes are quite good because they come in. You can get various formats and templates and planners as well to put in. The trouble I got with Filofax is that people, it tends to steer you towards putting a lot more personalized information in them. So you got to think about, like I said, the security aspect of that as well. OPSEC. You know, you could have a coded diary, and people have done that in historical events and stuff. But do you really want to do that? Unless it's some sort of secret.
Hey, CR, good to see you, brother.
Hello,
Hey,
hello. Apprentice veteran. You guys hear me?
Yeah, so we're just saying, CR, a lot, I've heard of people making coded diaries, and it's done in the past, but
Da Vinci, there's like historical.
Unless you got access or secret information to a hidden bunker that you don't want anyone else to know about apart from your family, is it really worth it? You're talking the realms of sort of fantasizing then.
Yep.
So, have you got an SAS survival manual in your bag, CR?
I'm working on something a little bit more specific for either the bag or for the situation. So,
yeah. Well, yeah, that's the key. Like I said, it's got to be tailored to your personal sort of situation.
Like a table of contents, right?
Yeah.
Here's the table of contents, right? For example.
But the good thing about
this is the Swedish version of it.
Right. Is that
here it is the English
there you
one.
Go. Yeah. I've got the one I've got is it's about the size of a cigarette packet. And the reason why I throw it in my bug out bag is because it's so small. Got every bit of survival information, credible information there you'd need. Why replicate it? Just shove it in your bag. There you go, done. It's a hive of information. So no, you don't have to have it. People, it's up to them, innit?
Well, I mean, it could be as simple. For this veteran, this could be as simple as like how I said it as a table of contents. I know some people will inventory or a checklist in their bag.
Yeah,
of items,
right.
For example, right? That might help some people out, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, I put a label on mine to say when I last checked it, so that you're not trying to think about when you last checked it and nothing's going out of date and stuff like this. But
yeah, like if you have like some pills in there or medication, for example.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. But I don't. The contents of my gear I put in my book. I don't document it in my bag or anything like that. I don't go to that sort of level of depth. I do put run out dates of stuff in there from canned stuff and things like this.
Food. Yeah.
It's sort of like it's a go-to single point of contact of information for anything prep, if you like. Plus other
and it helps with the inventory too. So if you're checking on it, it's actually there because you wrote it the last time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I even put things like the dimensions of a helicopter landing site. So, I mean, I know these, but Mrs. PV doesn't necessarily know them. So she can just pick up the book and say, okay, yeah, we've had an earthquake. All the roads have been destroyed. The only way in is now by helicopter. Identify a suitable HLS. So you look at my book, 100 meters. There you go. And all the intricate dimensions within that sort of thing. That's the type of information I sort of accumulate. But I don't necessarily live in an earthquake zone. It's just, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can even put things in there like, if it depends on the journal you got. If you got a journal just for a point of contact, like a documents book, for your location, fine. But you can also, if you got one for an on the body book that's a small write in the rain type size, you can just shove in your pocket, all well and good. And within that, you can put things in like a route card template as well. So you just fill in the boxes, basically. You don't have to start making new route cards out and stuff like this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, for this veteran, sometimes you'll see that in like where it's already pre-lined or pre-graphed. In some of the rain or waterproof type of notebooks, you'll see that, right? You'll see it's not just lines, it's a grid. So
yeah,
you can still write words, but you can, pictures or whatever. Maps,
yeah, that's right. Yeah. I don't really. I mean, for me, a notebook, a write in the rain notebook, is a luxury because they are on the expensive side here, anyway. So I tend to go for the number one pick would be the stone paper notebook, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. What else we got? Consult my book. Call signs. What the call signs are made up of. So ham radio call signs. Each letter and stuff mean a different thing.
Well, it could also be like Morse code too, right?
Q
You could be
codes
like
and Z codes. Morse code's a bit of a different beast, really. It's all right. I mean, I get asked this question quite a bit from various people I speak to. Morse code's easy to learn. You can learn Morse code within a week easy. The difficult part is sending and receiving it at a sufficient speed where it's, you're not trying to send one word in 3 minutes. It's a skill that you've got to build up. So you can actually get by at a really slow rate of knots by writing what characters mean what in Morse code, but it's a different story when you can actually come to send and transmit it and receive it. Sorry. So useful, yes. In practical terms, over radio, it can be quite difficult. Like I said, a simple 10-word message could take a real long time if you're trying to replicate it out of a book. Because it's not just a case of knowing the dits and the dars. It's transmits them at the right speed, at the right pace, if you like. For instance, a dot or a dit is sort of one character, one unit of time. A dash or a dar is 3 units of time, and those two spaced in between is another 3 units of time. So it becomes quite difficult to explain, but people get what I mean, I think. Do they?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. For instance,
so you would
try. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
So you would have to be concise as much as possible.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah.
No filler, no nothing.
As with any sort of radio transmission, brevity is a key component of transmission. But yeah, the simplest you can, if you can transmit a message in Morse code as simple as possible, then fine. But it's transcribing it from a book to practical terms, which is the hard bit. For instance, if you sent me a word in Morse code, you think it's okay, but I think, what the hell is he sending me there? Because your spacing's all is out. So that's the sort of thing I'm indicating. Dios, you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Hey,
I don't know how long I'm going to be here because I keep having issues with my phone overheating in the middle of the stream.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've put my phone on a ice pack that I pulled out of my cooler to see how long I can keep this going.
Right. What temperature you got there? What the temperature is in there?
Well, I don't. I guess the outside temperatures over here in Walsenburg, Colorado, is like 49 degrees Fahrenheit. So, not exactly sure what that would be in Celsius. But like the phone itself, the battery will start to overheat when I start live streaming for too long.
Yeah. So that's 49 Fahrenheit. It's 9 Celsius.
Probably 8. Probably closer to 8.
Right. Oh, right.
Yeah, and it's windy. It's windy as all get out over here. Like everybody's slowing down and driving extremely cautious, which is kind of annoying me because I'm not driving that high profile of a vehicle. So,
right. Like we're getting around 62 Fahrenheit here at the moment. It's quite warm.
yeah.
So one thing I also put in the book is a list of spare parts that I need. So the part numbers for filters for my engines, for instance, the types of oil they take. Because we all know if you put the wrong oil in, it'll have different effects. And if you put your spare parts list, like the filters, for instance, you can go thereafter to places and cannibalize other vehicles, for instance, for filters, and the part numbers right. You got the scope then, an opportunity to look for them afterwards, especially if you get any sort of internet disruption. You've got no capability to search then.
Yeah.
Yeah, 62 Fahrenheit, 17 odd degrees here. So it'll probably be minus next week. No, in Britain.
We will be on plus next week. So
plus. Yeah, well, a couple of days ago there was snow in parts of Britain. It's just that's the problem.
That happens not often.
Yeah, snow was falling over here in Colorado. That's why I'm trying to get the heck out of here and go back down to Texas.
That's the problem that's why all British people talk about the weather, because you can get 4 seasons in a day in the summer.
Yeah,
and it's so variable and windy. It's just that's why everyone goes abroad. Let's see, I've got snow. Have you got
Can you guys stop jinxing it? Stop jinxing it. Stop jinxing it.
You've got a snowman. Have you built a snowman?
Stop jinxing it. Stop jinxing it. It's already April. I'm trying to think of spring, everyone.
Good old British tradition over here. As soon as you get any form of snow, all the snowmen come out.
I mean, maybe I can write in the
video.
snow. I'll write in the snow.
Sierra wants to do another video of the spring greens popping up from the soil.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, things should be in the ground now for harvesting soon.
Well, it could be documenting like your gardening experience, or I know you said something about wild edibles earlier, so something along the lines of that. Kind of like how many days does this take, give or take?
Let's go to one of my edibles page. Right, so I've got a foraging page. So I'll put down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 8 different common types of things I could forage for, which will be useful in Britain. And it's the name of it and the reason and what to do with it and what it's for. Is it edible? And so on. So plantain, dandelion, red clover, nettles, cattails, blackberries, pine needles, and rose hips. That's on my list. And good sources for cordage, hazel branches, willow branches, nettle stems, and how to make an easy sort of wood stripper or bark stripper from those things. I've also got an essential oils page. So the ones I've got stored, as well as simplistic labels on the bottles, I've written down in the book as well. So lavender, which is a general one, but also can be used as a sleep aid, insect bites, peppermint oil, tea tree, clove oil, chili oil. What else we got here? First aid kit list, sort of a nice to have first aid kit list. So if ever I come the opportunity to get one of these items, I'll get it. Or if they become cheap in a sale beforehand, I'll get it. Antibiotics, a quick sort of, well, it's not quick, it's an in-depth sort of simplistic list of antibiotics and the dosages as well. Survival contents, CBRN section, nuclear section, strontium 90, for instance, 28.5 year shelf half-life. Sorry, 28-year half-life. Shelf lives of CBRN equipment, emergency CBRN first aid items like Gaviscon liquid, pectin, alginate, potassium blue, Prussian blue, potassium iodides, where to put it on, how to put it on, how long to put it on for. Just look, I mean, that information there, that just takes up a little sort of page in my Write in the Rain notebook. And it, once it's there, it's there. How radiation is measured. Distribution of energy by nuclear detonation. And it goes on.
Okay.
I've even got little pictures of how to cross a river in groups of 3 or more. What else we got? Batteries. Yeah, it's another one I've got. So over time, what I've accumulated is you get your little solar powered wind up radio, or you let an emergency radio out, or your ham radio, or whatever, and you scan through the stations and determine which of the radio stations you can pick up, which ones are easy to pick up, and you write the frequencies down. So if anything happens and it takes out half the radio stations on your area, for instance, and you're seeking information, you know which ones to tune into to access the information, as opposed to trying to guess and scan through the frequencies. And you might think that there's something wrong with the radio or whatever. So, for instance, in the whole of the British Isles, you can pick up something called Shannon Volmet, which is a meteorological transmitting station in Ireland, and it permanently transmits weather updates, for instance, and they're down in the low 5 megahertz range, stuff like that. So yeah, just giving people ideas here of what to write down. How to work out volts, ohms, amps, watts, volts, and amps, and little triangles, equations. How to work out a frequency, an antenna length for a frequency. The formula. What else we got? Antenna lengths pre-written down for the bands I use. signal reports, so you can tell someone what their readability, strength, and tone is like, so on and so on. So the danger is these things become such a treasured item that if you lose it, you've lost the entire contents of your treasured accumulated information bank that you've jotted down and sought out over years.
The treasure map.
Exactly, the treasure map. The X on it, 4 paces from the tree, and all this sort of stuff. But a good idea if you to have 2 journals, and then as you write an idea in one, you put one down in the other one, so you've at least sort of got a backup, if you like.
Yeah, if you're like caching something or something.
Yeah, well, in fact, that's a good idea. That is. See, that's a good idea. That is. If you get an all-weather notebook or something like that, you can put it in a case somewhere, or a secure location, and that's it, done. And it's there. You just got to worry about the vulnerabilities of the location it's in then. So, yeah. So Diggs Outdoors says, with the ham radio, do you guys do a weekly check-in? Well, for me, no. Well, I normally, Sunday is me sort of ham radio day for me. I'll get it out, fire it up, and just go through the bands, make contact with a couple of people in voice and Morse. Because it gives me, by doing that, it gives me a sort of a regular training program, and it builds up a picture for me that I know what antenna works in what time of year, the height of the antenna, the length of the antenna for a certain distance. So if I know that working a certain frequency band will get me further than another frequency band, for instance, at a certain time of year. So, but
Hey,
I don't.
Guardian Fitness, good to see you, brother.
Hey, Guardian, all right.
EGP.
I'm not part of any sort of ham radio group. It's just sort of a thing, and in the back of mine, for instance, I just put my the key information which is pertinent to me. Like I say, the calling frequencies is key for me, and that's probably the 3 pages I always use. Is those 4 pages? There's 4 bands I use. Always use them. Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Guardians put a key comment there. Perfect your notes. Get them tattooed. Well, I wouldn't get them tattooed because you need arms 10 foot long and stuff. But yeah, perfect your notes, definitely. So we're not all perfect. We can't. It's difficult to write something down without making a mistake for me. And there's always crossings out and rubbings out and scribble marks everywhere. So
yeah, that'd be bad.
You could
too. That'd be bad.
Yeah. So you can. This is why I say a ring binder is probably better because you can tear the page out and get rid of it. Whereas,
and you can move it too.
Yeah, and you can add stuff in there. If you buy a notebook and after 100 pages you've filled it and you've run out of space, you got to get another notebook. But with a ring binder, you can just keep adding stuff in there. You see, or if you make a mistake, you just tear the page out. But with something like a write in the rain notebook, for instance, you try tearing the pages out of that. The sealed ones, and it sort of destroys the binding on the end of it.
Yeah, it kind of weakens it.
Yeah. I think another key difficulty that I've come across is trying to segment the information in a standard notebook that's not ring binded, because if you say, all right, you start halfway through the book and you're on a blackout sort of theme, or a CBRN theme, for instance, or a nuclear theme, and you start writing in there, 10 pages later you think, all right, I'll reserve 10 pages and the next section I'll put first aid kit stuff in there. You could fill that previous section up quite quickly, and then you've overspilled then, so it can become quite fragmented as a notebook. So yeah, I think ring binders are a bit better, but it's a bit more difficult to come by a waterproof, robust ring binding insert. What other people do I've seen one person who, over a period of time, they've accumulated medical information, So instead of writing it down, what they do is when they come across a piece of information on the internet, for instance, they print the page out, laminate it, and they store that laminated page in a file, and they put it in a ring binder then. So it negates them making mistakes or in translation or transcribing and interpretation. You just print the page off and it's verbatim, done black and white pictures or color pictures or whatever, with pictures as well. And if you print it off, it can be photographs. Laminate it.
Yeah, it could be useful for.
Yeah,
could be useful for those wild edibles, right? Not just words, but a picture.
Oh yeah,
or
exactly. Yeah, that's a key point. That is because I've come across a lot of
and all this other stuff.
Yeah, I've come across a lot of foraging books where they've either got black and white pictures in them, or no pictures in them, or rough hand-drawn sketches. And when you actually try and use them in real life, there's a lot of plants which looks the same out there. Is it the poisonous version or the one you can actually eat? So it's definitely helpful if you got a color photo.
Yeah, that helps definitely.
Yeah.
Can I add a few?
In that case, to not be eating anything that has a counterpart that's very similar in appearance that might be poisonous or toxic.
But for that, I mean, I've talked about the Lofty Wiseman Survival Guide, the SAS Survival Manual. When it comes to foraging stuff, what I also have got, so I haven't put it in my bag, but I'm considering it, is the little Collins Gem book called Food for Free. And that is a really good, it's one of the best foraging books I've seen. And it's literally 3 inches by 2 inches, the book. 230 pages in it. Color pictures, color photographs. It tells you everything you need to know about every possible aspect of each plant and how to do it and all this sort of stuff. And like I say, it's gold dust. But I think it's a bit of a defining line, really, between having a journal and having lots of little books. Because this little book I've got here, Food for Free, for instance, it's all right. It's a brilliant book, 10 out of 10. But what I was getting to earlier is, it's got to be personalized to you and your location, your situation. There can be a bit of overspill to have a variation of circumstances, but when you've got a little 300-page book, it will contain everything from the edibles in the desert to the edibles in a subarctic region, and you're starting to go into sort of wasted territory there. If you're living in the tropics, is there any real reason to start carrying around and storing excess information about the Arctic and subarctic zones? It's possibly not. So, personalizing information to your needs is definitely key. And Bob's here.
Now, Bob's in here?
Yeah.
What up, Bob?
Hey, Bob.
Bob?
Good
I was going to say, I bought, like I said, we are kind of deviating from log books and everything like that, but I was going to say, I did buy these pamphlets, these, wild edible pamphlets. They're laminated. They fold in the, I think they fold in the 4s or something like that. But one of them's got wild edible plants and berries, and the other one's got wild edible mushrooms. And both of them touch base on stuff that's toxic or poisonous for humans to eat.
Yeah, definitely. And it's all right having one of those. If like I say, if all the information within it pertains to you and stuff like that. The danger with preppers is, in the nature of being a prepper, it's all the what ifs and the other possibilities which put people in danger of having too much stuff.
Yeah.
You know, because I think you can have too much stuff. You can drift away from the focus point of what you're preparing for, and you think, oh, you know, I'll have that, or I'll just put that in my bag, or I'll just carry this just in case that happens. Before you know it,
Yeah.
you bug out bags, £300. You need an extra
Why do
ISO
I have
container.
the kitchen sink?
Yeah, you know, you need an extra ISO
Why is
container
this in
to
my
put
bag now?
all this extra stuff in. So it's got to be. It's up to you, innit, really.
Just fine tune it for your own specific situation, or where it is,
exactly.
wherever it is in the space that, in a vehicle, in your home, on you, in your wallet, you know, just stuff like that. Because if you think about, we just naturally just do it anyways. You know, like you leave a note for someone. I went to the store. I'll be back. You didn't have your phone on you, so I left you a message on the table, kind of deal. Like a day-to-day kind of thing you might do.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and having phone numbers
So,
on
yeah.
on the back of your phone, for example. You know, just stuff like that, right? It's like, it doesn't take a lot of time to do, but a little forethought can help later on.
They're good memory joggers as well, to have some sort of journal, because you could write things in miniature for extrapolating into a larger format. For instance, if you come across an idea where someone's got a good template for a log for a specific reason, then you could write it in miniature, and then later on down the line, when you actually want to use it, you can reserve a portion of wall, for instance, and mark it out to use it thereafter. Whether it's going to be, you know, template format sort of thing. But yeah, it's a good it's good to keep a timeline, a calendar, or keep track of time as well. We can't all write 5 little lines on a bit of scratched into the wall, telling how long we've been there and stuff like that.
Well, it can keep you busy too, right? So you are actually trying to actively do something.
Yeah.
Even if it's just recording third day and
so when you're looking at historical things, they can become quite important. We sort of alluded to this earlier, where, let's say, for instance, back in the 1400s, there's a theory that the Chinese were the first people to circumnavigate the world and explore America, South America, Europe. You know, they put themselves around. That's a theory, and all that this theory comes from, and all the intricate details involved in this theory, revolves around a map, the Piri Rice map. That's debatable whether that's authentic, and the journal from the Chinese leader of this big fleet of ships, and it's referring back to this journal that they find out all this little intricate information about, you know, what chickens they took with them, what rice they took with them, the preservation methods, and all this sort of stuff. And you know, this sort of thing survived all sorts of fires and all sorts of other disasters, and it's now being used as some sort of historical reference point to validate this theory of the Chinese exploration of the world back in 1421. So yeah, that's how important a journal can be. And like Dior said earlier, you know, it can be used as some sort of evidence document.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, I think there was something similar with the Norse Vikings. Or at least there's belief that I don't know if they circumnavigated, but there's belief that they also navigated down to South America and Central America before before, well before, like, I think it was like 200 years even before Christopher Columbus discovered the Americas.
Right. Yeah, discovered them. It's laughing at. They discovered them, and someone was already there. Native Americans and stuff. Yeah.
Well, I mean, what is it like? I think I can't remember where the North Tower was at. I don't know if the North Tower was. I don't remember if that was in like Michigan or if that was in Minnesota. Like there's belief that the Vikings are the ones who actually constructed that. Till this day, it's still a mystery to why it even exists. It's a like complete stone construction tower cobbled together with different kinds of stones and mortar.
Right. I've heard about that. Yeah.
There's like I said, there's evidence that some people are saying that the sun shines through it, this hole on the just perfectly at the right season or whatever, and it points in a particular direction. I don't remember how many miles to the west or something like that. Allegedly, again, this is all speculation. Allegedly, that is the location where fragments of the Holy Grail supposedly placed. And again, like I said, there's theories that the Knights Templar constructed it, and there's like I said, there's theories that the Vikings, the Norse, the Vikings constructed it as well.
Yeah. It's one of the most famous sources of log and documentation is the Bayeux Tapestry, which documents a complete portion of history and time in history there in the pictorial format. They managed to put it in a tapestry, which is still being used today as some sort of
or the Ethiopian Bible.
Yeah, hieroglyphics as well.
Yeah,
it's funny. I think people, different motives for different people. I think, as I say, for me, it's putting down information in a book beforehand, so that I've got a quick reference point for the future when I've got no other access to other information. So you're sort of more or less in isolation, really.
Mm-hmm. Or your family's using it, because you're down for some reason, or you're sleeping. You're doing security or something like that, and it's like, oh yes, let's mark this down, so they can read it later.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I add a few more things? I gotta go in a little bit here. That's why.
And you could even, yeah, no worries. You can even extract cutouts and use local. Go on.
Like a template, for example, right?
So yeah,
like a template. Can you guys hear me? Sorry.
Yeah, like a scrapbook, for instance. So if you got a key diagram or picture or anything like that, cut it out, glue it into there, done. Then it's there for all to be seen, and just got me.
Yeah, you can have your own template for your bag, for example. I know you don't personally do that. I know some of the preppers out there do that for their to help inventory their bag. So you might sort it in section. Oh, I know some people inventory their bag with a sheet. Where they have these are the fire starting items. These are the shelter items. These are the water items. These are the first aid type of items.
All right, so the inventory, everything in their bag. Yeah, I personally don't do that because what I tend to find is you spend all this time documenting what's in your sort of bags, and when it actually comes to using them or going out the door, you second guess yourself and go through it again anyway, and you probably more or less often than not put more stuff in there than what was previously in there. you've got the element of doubt creeping in. You see.
But it may help some people out there.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you can put a sort of a generic worst case scenario list in there, and everything else is a bonus as long as you can carry the thing or fit it into your space or vehicle or whatever. You know, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the
It
key
could be
thing
as
is
simple as the numbers, right? The numbers. So just in case you don't
Yeah.
have your phone and all this stuff, who remembers the numbers nowadays?
yeah.
Who remembers the numbers of your friends or anything like that?
A lot of people are putting more and more information on their phones, and you're seeing these people with, there's an app prepper apps out there that does all this for you, and you can have online journal apps and notebooks on your phone, but it's not something tangible that you can flick through, and it's I don't like it as much.
And if your screen's damaged or cracked or anything, or the battery's dead or water damage, and you're just trying to call back home, that's kind of more. You might still have the phone, but it doesn't work. Like, oh look, I have this waterproof paper behind it because it's behind the case.
Yeah, as Guardian says, as Guardian says, you should know your preps because all your preps, or most of them, should be items you use as often as possible. Get comfy with your gear. Yeah, so there's no use getting stuff out on the day of the races. It's too late then. You could have
try stuff out.
Yeah, skill fade. It might not be working as you intended to, or you might need more parts than required, or whatever. Or you might have stored it incorrectly.
And stuff like that.
I mean, sleeping bags is a big one. How many people don't get their sleeping bag out of their bug out bag, for instance? That these things aren't really meant to be stored rolled up in a bag. They're meant to be stored.
You should take them out from the compression bag and hang them up.
Exactly. Hang them up, yeah. And on the day when you actually need it, you take it out of its bag and you've got clumps of stuff everywhere because you haven't stored it properly, or it takes a long time to loft up and well, especially those.
It could be down.
Those foam roll, the foam roll mats, which are self-inflating. If you don't get them out and store them properly.
All right. Hey guys, I'm about to jump out. I gotta go.
I know.
Yeah, no worries, Josh.
Oh, actually, I gotta go now too. See you, Steve. I gotta go too, everyone.
All right, he's going as well.
Take care, BB. Take care, Sajai. I see everyone out there.
No worries. Yep. See you in a bit. Bong. Yeah, like I was saying, those sleeping mats, which are self-inflating, they've got an internal foam sort of honeycomb system in them. If you don't get them out, they'll forever crease and deform when they try and be used and stuff.
Yeah,
this is the problem, isn't it? I mean, it's easy to just go out and buy loads of stuff from a list. People know they might need a sleeping bag.
Hey, Bob.
Hello.
Hey, Bob.
Where are we?
Yeah, how you doing?
Okay, Joseph, no problem. Thanks for stopping by.
Can I do a Churchill impersonation?
Go for it.
Go for
it. Okay, let's see. Here we are. Ireland or Lords was subjugated and starving.
You're freezing.
Our empire beyond the seas, armed and guarded by the British fleet, would carry on the struggle until on God's good time, a new world with all its power and might steps forth to the rescue and the liberation of the old. There we go. That's all I have for today.
Thank you very much.
Where did that come from?
Oh, that movie, The Darkest Hour, and Churchill's speech that finally united all of the House of Commons and Lords, and we're going to go to war. We're going to fight the Germans no matter what. We're going to fight, and that's what swayed them. All right, arm yourselves. We're going.
Tell you what.
Yeah.
Great. All right, Winston, where the hell
Tell
are
you
you
what's,
now? We need you.
Yeah, you have to go
What's
to
really
his grave
funny
and wake him up.
So what's really funny is a clip that goes around the internet over and over again, and it's off of some film, and it's Hitler in his bunker, and he rants and raves, and people just put their own sort of words on top of it, relating to all sorts of stuff. It's absolutely hilarious. I'll have to find it and put a link in there.
Oh, I watched this video of Churchill's speech many mornings when I'm feeling bored and lonely, and I put that on, and and armed and guarded by the British fleet, we'll carry on the struggle. Our empire from beyond the seas. I love that, man. It's like, don't lose hope, don't lose faith. Things will be all right.
Yeah, that's the problem if you lose hope.
It was voted in the top 3, one of the greatest Britons, and
oh, I agree.
We actually look what they did to him after the war. It was a bit of a travesty, really. Everyone wanted him during the war, and as soon as the war finished, they kicked him out.
Yeah, political treachery.
Very intelligent man.
Yes, he was.
Very intelligent
man. Did you know World War II was the 4th war he was involved in directly?
Yeah, that's right. He
the frontiers
there's
of
a
India,
film called
the Boer War.
Yeah,
World War One.
Go to
and then World War II.
It's a film called Young Winston, which is a good depiction of his earlier days. Yeah, he was an accomplished artist, and he also, some of the skills he had. He was also a bricklayer. It's quite a unique bloke.
He was no pushover. I mean, you go through 3 wars before you become prime minister. You're a tough guy to live through all that, and yeah. I admire the guy. I wish he was around here now. Wish he was still around.
Yeah, he turned out to be pretty old, Churchill.
The only person we've had with any balls like Hitler turned out to be a woman, Margaret Thatcher. Ever since then, it's gone downhill.
Yeah, she was feisty.
The Iron Lady.
Yeah. When the Argentines took over the Falkland Islands, took over the Falkland Islands. We're not standing for this. Those are British citizens. We're going to go rescue them. Period.
And that conflict is, the eyes of envy are still after the Falklands from the Argentinian side of it. And if ever that happens again, I dread to think what the decisions we made by the people in power nowadays. They'll probably just give it to them. It's just,
it could be leaving all those British citizens stranded. How could you do that? You can't.
Hands off their ass.
Do that. Yeah. But anyway, thought I'd throw that out there. But the rest of my day will be filled with my feminine side. Yep. I'm going to hang some curtains for the wife, and I'm going to wear some high heels and lipstick and short shorts, maybe a tea back, and I'll post some pictures around. Anyway, what's the topic here, guys? What the hell's going on?
Journals, logbooks to keep, like a prepper journal or prepper notebook. So reasons to have them, what put in them, types, and all this sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm. I
was
have
saying
one.
earlier,
I have one right here. Yeah, it's right here.
So what? Go on and talk us through yours. What do you put in there and all this sort of stuff?
Oh, yeah. Here's my journal. It's sitting right next to me. When I see something that I want, there's a shopping list in here, and also like during 2020 during the riots, and they cut power to our place, and I was sitting there alone with my daughter, taking care of her in the house, and I would write down things that will make the next event easier, things like a shopping list, you know.
Yeah,
that's my journal.
Exactly what I do. Yeah, exactly. Stuff. I just I put a link in there of the Hitler thing, and Prepper for the Ages has put one in there as well. It's the same sort of channel, and it rants and raves. It's been copied so many times over for different subjects. You know, everything from Chuck Norris doing things to Chuck Norris.
Hitler's
He goes
rants.
into a big rant. It's absolutely
right.
It's so golden. You got to watch them. It's hilarious.
Oh God. Hitler is informed Biden and Trump clinched 2021. Oh my God. This should be good. Let's see.
The one that the Prepper for the Ages has put down is Hitler's rants over cupcakes. I'll watch that later.
I'm gonna watch this later. I guarantee you I will.
You will laugh your butt off, probably, Bob.
Oh, probably.
It is good.
You know, I've got a bent sense of humor anyway, so.
Yeah,
oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, same with with my notebooks and stuff. Anything that I think is valuable information, it gets put in a notebook or a list or anything like that. Pictures and stuff, and you know it's there then. Our treasured home. Hello.
Can I tell you briefly about my morning? You know, Saturday morning is I've got a Filipina friend, Maria. She puts on a live chat every Saturday morning just before shadows. Maria has been a friend of mine for a long time, and I got an Australian friend over there, Maria Rosario de la Pena. You know.
And which channel is this? Our treasured
today.
Home. Which channel is it?
Oh, well, okay. I was Maria Rosario de la Pena. That's her channel.
Oh, right. Right.
I go there prior to this. It's a general just talking. Usually the three of us. Maria, she's an overseas Filipina working in Macau. Peter has got a 200-acre homestead in Australia, and me. We're all around the same age. We like to joke and banter, but today, oh my God, I'm kind of in with the Filipino community. I'm married to one, so I'm in with them, but I'm not one of them. You understand? Okay.
Yeah.
So this morning's live that Maria had was it was all about controversy between the Filipino girls about whose boyfriend is who did you send pictures to, on and on. And I just sat there for a while, and I left, took a shower, put on some clean clothes, getting ready to go to the market. They're still fighting. I went in and made a snack, came back out, and they're still fighting. I will file a case against you. I am going to file a case, you know. And I said, so I finally got tired of it and started singing a song over. That didn't have any effect. So then I got on the microphone and I said, look, I've been sued by my ex-wife several times. If you're going to file a suit, then shut the fuck up. Quit talking about it. All of a sudden, they all
Not the
stop.
sort of thing you
like,
actually want to. Not the sort of thing you actually want to put on the internet, is it?
No, it is not. And then that's how my morning started.
Yeah.
But
Hey,
You know,
Darren,
half the
don't
time
forget
it's too
to
many
say
people
brother.
Half the time it's too many people ranting and raving anyway. And
oh, it is.
in real life,
Yeah. Finally, Peter, the Australian, and Maria and I were able to sit down, chit chat a little bit. But that's how my morning started. Was like, you people are insane. You're
yeah.
he's my boyfriend. No, he's not. He's never taken a plane over to meet you yet. He's not your boyfriend. God, shut up. You know.
Yeah. Right, so I've got Shadow. That's me. I've got to disappear.
Yeah, as usual.
Oh, Hendo, yeah, I did. But the droning kept going, repeating the same thing again and again and again. And I reminded some of the ladies that who's ever insulting you has already won the fight because they just bought space inside of your head. That person wins.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. Right, I've got to go. We'll catch you in a bit, Bob.
All right, take care.
Catch up with you in a while.
I'll catch you later.
Go watch that Hitler one and I'll turn it off. Right. See you later, guys.
Yep. I can't wait to see some of these videos, man. It looks like there's a whole channel full of them. Welcome back, Idaho Garden Girl. Oh. Well, I had recently with my growing stuff anyway, I had all my flowers and house plants wiped out by some fetid soil with gnats, and a couple of the plants survived, and I just went to the market and picked up a whole bunch more of these nasturtium seeds and some sweet pea seeds, and we're going to try it again, you know.
Let's
Hello,
hope
Idaho.
works better then.
It should. I'm cooking all of that soil. I'm cooking it, getting it over 200 degrees. And if there's any larvae or eggs in there, they're dead, you know.
Yeah.
But I'll be getting in touch with my feminine side and hanging up curtains. My wife ordered some on Amazon, and she was so excited.
Hey, good to see
they
you.
arrived last night, and I said, "Okay, how do you want these, hon?" Blah 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 blah. Some colors. All right. She's only like this tall, so how do you think she's going to be able to reach a curtain rod? So I'm going to have to do this by myself, you know.
Yeah. Sesame seeds go well on a salad.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
Yeah.
McBean is in the house too.
Hello, McBean. Darren Dobson. Idaho, I'm still disappointed in you, Mrs. Idaho. You never did pick out an Indonesian wedding gown. I'm just disappointed in you. I thought you'd look freaking hot in an Indonesian wedding gown. But she never did. Shadow, what the hell's wrong with these women these days? I don't get it.
I have no idea.
You can't join back in?
He has some issues.
Oh, bummer. Hey, Dior's.
Can someone tell me where my remote? Did you put that in your notebook, Karen? That would be a good idea to put that information in your notebook.
Mm-hmm.
I put it in my bookshelf or something.
Oh boy. No, Idaho, come on. You probably looked at some of the Indonesian wedding gowns, man. You'd look great. I mean, what the hell?
DIA? Does that stands for Darren Intelligence Agency or what? No comments.
No comment, Bob.
In other news, I'm currently writing in an online magazine. And that's cool.
Right on, Diggs.
That's cool to write an online magazine. No, Darren in action. Okay, that works too.
Well, I thought I'd bounce in and say something stupid like I just did. A couple things, but I'm proud of my Winston Churchill impersonation. I worked hard on that. In our empire, across the seas, armed and guarded by the British fleet.
Hey, McBean, good to see you, brother.
Hey, McBean.
Howdy, howdy. Oh, I think I'm going to have to move this over to the other side.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, much better.
I had a feeling that might be the case. Shittle Scott Swede, all the way from Sweden.
Yeah, the one and only.
The one and only. There's no need to fear. Underdog is here.
Nope.
I think I'm going to go outside. It's actually quite pleasant out. It's a balmy 55 degrees.
Yeah, we just now reached 48 here in Seattle.
Oh, there you go.
I think it stopped raining for a moment.
Rain in Seattle? Who'd have thought? It must be that.
Who? Yeah. Say it ain't so. It can't be true.
Must be climate change.
Throw money at it. Throw money at it. Throw money at it. Yeah.
I had a conversation with an individual on one of the Facebook groups. It's a science group that don't apply the science as well as I thought they might. Oh, shit. Well, that sucked. Rule number 1, don't pick up cat when it comes out of the field and put them on your clean pants.
Oh, boy.
So it might wipe off.
Mud.
or I'm going to be putting another pair of pants on here real quick. You think I would have known that. But anyway, they were talking about climate change and the percentage of CO2 in the atmosphere. And he was wanting to provide links. And I said, listen, take the 30 seconds and do a little research. It may mean more to you, And he finally did. I think it was a he. I don't want to misgender anybody, but and after about 10 minutes of going back and forth, he ceased arguing with me. And it's amazing how many people, and this is everywhere, repeat lies because they didn't take, 1 or 2 minutes to verify. It's like trust but verify.
Yeah.
I was on a different creator's channel, and they were talking about, the bridge that got hit, and the Keystone Bridge, and then they repeated something that was false. They said, Mitch McConnell's daughter-in-law, who died mysteriously, owned that shipping company. Well, she died mysteriously, but she didn't own the shipping company. And it literally took me 30 seconds to find that information out.
Yeah.
And here he had 2 craters, good size, larger than mine. And I put it out there. I said, no, that's not true. She owned a shipping company. Just wasn't that one. And the one owned up to it. Goes, okay, I made a mistake. And the other one goes, well, I just seen it a lot of different places. So, well, okay, you've seen a lot of different places because they were repeating the same misinformation because they didn't do any research. And I remember I got busted one time, probably about 15 years ago, from my cousin for sharing something that wasn't true. It wasn't, mind-boggling, but, I shared that McDonald's hamburgers were made out of worm meat because I seen it. And I didn't do any research. And I was wrong. So I try not to do that again. I think the problem is we get information and it sounds like it curtails with what we want to believe. And so we just take it as because it kind of goes right along with what we feel should be.
I agree.
And we need to do a better job of that, myself included. So at least I hope he learned something. I don't know. But I see that too often, and it's not just with the younger generation. I see even people in my generation repeating things they heard that just logically don't make sense.
Yeah.
The one is, so-and-so spent $500 million on his presidential campaign and dropped out. This was a New York millionaire. And, we have 325 million people here. He could have gave everybody $1 million. And I had a man my age telling me this. I'm looking at him and go, please explain that math to me. Well, 325 and 500, he could have gave everybody, $1 million. No, he could have gave everybody $1.
Mm-hmm.
And had to break it down to him on paper. And I said, and, he graduated. He was a year older than I was. I believe we taught math back then. This is
we did
grade math. So they used to have that show, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? I want to say most people are not. And the shame of it is we have the information right literally at our hands that we can go within 30 seconds to a minute and pull up that information either to prove or disprove or make you think about it. And they don't use it.
Yeah.
I always said that was the difference between IQ and usable intelligence. IQ, I know the stove is hot. Intelligence, I know not to touch the stove.
Yeah.
So
for most of us,
about
that's easy. That's an easy one for most of us. Yeah.
You would think.
I used to joke like that at work. I'd say, fire hot, fire bad.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I was messing with one of the guys at dealership I worked with. The guy's son was he had a PhD in something. And after it was the same time where they screwed up this $1 million thing. I said, well, here, I'll give you a word problem. You good at that? He goes, yeah, that's okay. So a train leaves Detroit traveling at 60 miles an hour. I said, another one leaves Denver traveling at 80 miles an hour. I said, what time is it in Chicago? Like, well, how the hell do I know that? And I just pulled out my phone. I said, it's 1 o'clock. And the one man goes, you got to stop messing with these people. I said, it's just so easy.
Yeah.
The first two parts of the word problem had nothing to do with what the question was. But anyway, glad that, the weather's going. I'm going to try to enjoy it these last 2 days before the world comes to end because of the solar eclipse, from what I've been told.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We're all
I
going
heard
to
about
die.
that solar eclipse.
Yeah, all these predictable natural
die.
events are going to lead to our demise.
Yeah, we're all going to die.
Yeah, someday.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it ain't Monday.
I don't think anybody will die when a solar eclipse. I don't think so.
I still just want to die in a cat house in Bangkok, Thailand.
There you go. That's right.
That's where I want to die. I can't
told
get the
the
wife
look-
on.
The look
wife
on
on
my
board.
face, I want to be people go wipe that damn smirk off his face because it's going to be.
Where did your dad die?
Yeah, he died happy.
He
Mom-
died in
Mom
a,
was
in a
there.
yeah, he died in a brothel in
Yeah.
Bangkok. Oh, I want to be that guy.
There you go.
Yeah, I figured
But I think I'm going to do a video on that Monday about, we have all this information instantly available at our fingertips and we don't use it.
That's a fact.
My son, who is very intelligent, he'll start talking about some world politics things and that. And he goes, "Why are you going for the computer?" I said, "Well, I want to learn about it because, Dad knows a lot of things, but I don't know everything. So before I can have this conversation with you, I need to pull in some information on it because right now I have none. All I have is feelings. And I hate to tell you, people, feelings are not facts. So I'll research it because, I find about 8 out of 10 times what's on the internet is false or mostly false.
Yeah.
But it means, 2 out of 10 sometimes are kind of true. And then the best lies start with truth.
My thoughts on that bridge that went down was like, number one, oops, oh shit.
Yeah.
Number two, wish I was an iron worker. I'd have steady work there for the next year.
Yeah. My confusion is why they didn't have something around those pilings to keep that from happening. As many ships that go under that bridge, I don't know, maybe I would think, maybe I should have something that, in case somebody loses power and can't steer right, you have something to keep them from breaking the bridge down. I don't know. Obviously, they didn't.
Yeah. The new one will. I'll pretty much promise you that. The new one will. Mm-hmm.
We'll see how long it takes them to build that one.
Yeah, it'll take a while. It's a lot of work.
So.
Yeah. They built the new Tacoma Narrows Bridge here in Washington in no time.
Yeah, if you're a concrete worker or an iron worker or any type of I'd be heading that way. I'm sure there's going to be some jobs.
There will be. Yeah.
Yeah, I only saw the headlines on that bridge that collapsed. What happened with that bridge to make it collapse from the beginning?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I was surprised it went down like it did, but it did. I mean, you looked at it, it shouldn't have fell, but it did.
Mm-hmm. One of those oops, oh shit moments.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I was in the construction trade and I was at a job where we were putting a foundation in for a building, and they brought the cement truck in and they grabbed their 3 samples from the cement truck, and then they added about 50 gallons of water into it. And then those samples they gave to the inspectors, and then we poured a slightly more diluted concrete into that foundation.
Oh no.
And I told my dad about that because he was a contractor. I wasn't working for him. I was working for somebody he knew. And he told me, well, yeah, that's number one is illegal. Number two, it's unsafe. And I was working for him after that. Because when I was looking at it, I'm thinking, well, if they do it here, it probably explains why our roads in Illinois are crap.
Well,
because they'll put a road in and it lasts maybe 3-4 years before they got to really start doing repairs on it again.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking they should last longer than that, but I could be wrong. But I mean, that probably could have happened when that bridge was being put up.
That could be.
But yeah, I was surprised that the ship was even able to bust through that support. Yeah. But I guess it's that part of that build back better. Break it and then it has to get built back. Mm-hmm. Hopefully it's better. I don't think there's any conspiracy to it. These things happen.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to bounce out of here, guys. I got to go hang some curtains.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
Well, some things we have to do those things for our honeys.
She's not going to be expecting to pick the pictures of me wearing high heels and lipstick, though. She ain't going to be. That's going to be a surprise.
Well, we don't need to see that.
No,
I'll take your word for it.
We don't want to.
All right.
Unless they're really nice. Unless they're really nice high heels. Otherwise, no.
Oh, they are. They're Italian.
There you go.
Oh yeah. Size
Or
12,
camo
triple extra
painted.
wide. No. Oh no, I don't camouflage my high heels. I want them seen. They're
Get
both
those
about
ones
that
with
big.
with the glass
Ah,
seals
you
and
mean you
goldfish
make
in
them
huh?
shiny?
All right, later, guys. Take care.
Later.
Well, now I got that picture burned into my head.
Yeah, me too. And that will stick for a couple of weeks, months, years, probably.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
Mrs. and I are going to go out and listen to some music, do a little dancing, probably have a few beers later on this evening.
Yeah.
It's 3:00 here. You've got to be what, 6 or 7?
My time is 10:31 p.m.
10:31? Oh yeah.
Yep.
Let's do some. You're 7 hours ahead of me.
Yeah.
You see that meme when they said, well, hey, in Europe, if they're 6, 7 hours ahead of us, why don't you just call us and let us know what's going to happen? It's like, oh. I tell you, I was kind of exploring some of these other groups, and just what some people take out as facts are just scary sometimes.
Yeah.
I think life was probably easier back in the day because we were so busy surviving that we didn't have time to wander down these deviant trails. I'm missing some comments here because I don't have my reading glasses on.
Yeah, it's
there we go. Yeah, prep for the ages. Yeah, they're built to support weight, not take a big hit. Yep.
Yeah.
And 70, no one probably managed a ship that size. That makes sense. Didn't think of that.
Yeah.
Back in the 70s, things were a little smaller.
Hey, Vanessa, welcome back.
So otherwise, it's a nice day. It's supposed to be almost 70 degrees on Monday during the eclipse.
Yeah, we will be on the plus side in the next week.
And it's the full effect is probably going to be about, I'd say about 120 miles south of me. So we're not going to be in darkness. No, I think last time in 2017, I think we were like in the 3/4 area in that. It got like darker, but it was pretty cool. I actually got to see that one and the special glasses and all that stuff. But it wasn't a total eclipse where I was at. But it's kind of neat seeing these natural events.
Prepper for the Ages says, okay, remind me again why governments are warning of the eclipse.
Cause and fear. They plant a little seed and then you watch it grow. I'm looking at some of these sites. I mean, oh my God, we're going to have locusts coming out of the ground. Yes, every 17 years we have the cicadas come out of the ground. That's why they're called the 17-year locusts. And there's different, swarms of them that come out at different times. So we have 2 large swarms that will be coming out. I remember when I was in Boy Scouts, I woke up to millions of them around us in the woods. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Then they say, oh, there's earthquakes happening.
Manufactured panic. Yeah.
Earthquakes happen all the time. Another natural event. Now, if I see a big alien ship in the sky, then I want to get a little concerned.
Hey, oops. Good to see you, brother.
Nah, I need to get back here. Yeah, do not look at that eclipse. Yes, that's why we have glass. We have special glasses for that. Yeah, absolutely. You'll go blind. You'll go blind doing that. Literally, go blind. Yeah, I've got a couple of those glasses. One in 2017, I had bought like 20 of them, and my wife took her 2nd grade class out there to watch it. but we had mostly overcast. I had to drive 100 miles just to get out of the cloud cover.
That was a long ride for that.
Yeah, but it was worth it. I
Yeah.
really didn't have anything else going on. Here out in the country, you know, I drive 15 miles just to go to the grocery store.
There will be a number of people who
Yeah,
get
they will.
the eye damage.
Because they won't listen.
There are always people who won't listen.
They seem to grow in numbers every year.
I agree with that.
But they say personal experience is the best teacher. They won't go blind twice.
That's true. Uh,
There you go. Cool.
that's cool.
Yeah, of course.
I think I have seen 2 solar eclipses in my life.
One in 17 is the only one I actually remember looking at. I remember when I was a young kid, we built a box with a little pinhole. And then you looked in the box and you're supposed to see it that way. But I don't think it worked very well. But the glasses were a better way of doing it.
Mm.
Otherwise, it's been a slow news day, so I wonder how long that'll last.
Yeah.
Everything's turning green. I'm gonna have to start mowing.
Yeah. I believe the grass must have grown pretty much lately.
Yeah, it's my favorite time of the year. The sun's out. Yeah, Tennessee. And if my lawn wasn't so wet, I'd probably be mowing today. But right now, I still got standing water. Tennessee, you're probably already getting spring flowers. I wasn't going to go out and look for some more mushrooms out here pretty soon.
Hey, Tammy, good to see you.
Oh, yeah, there'll be some traffic issues. A lot of the parks will be overcrowded and all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably be mowing on Monday. There's no rain today, no rain tomorrow. Monday, no rain. That yard should be
That is a good day for mowing your.
well Monday morning. Then I got to go to work in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I get a lot more active during the spring and summer, and the fall than I do in the winter.
Yeah.
Well, I think the path to across the entire nation, the width of it, I think the width of total darkness is what, maybe 50 miles or more. Suppose I could look that up. How wide of a path during the eclipse? $115-mile wide path. So 115 miles.
That's a long distance. I get rain tomorrow, clear Monday, but a week of rain to come. Tuesday. Okay. Risk for floodings then.
Yeah, there we go. Now Fort Worth to here is 18. Yes, I mean it is a considerably long path, but it's 115 miles wide.
No need to drive to some crowded area. I agree with you about that one.
Yeah, I try to avoid that. The only time I go into Chicago is to fly out of O'Hare Airport. Otherwise, I got no desire to be there. And I went to college there.
I see 93% from my location, but the weather seems to be cloudy. Okay. And it seems to be cloudy in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's supposed to be only partly cloudy here, so but I think we're only going to be like 80% here. Yep, yeah, I did the last probably 2,400 miles at least.
Yeah. I avoid Pittsburgh like the plague.
There we go. So I went to Pittsburgh last year for the Senior Olympic Nationals and had a great time. But boy, that is a tough town. Not that Chicago isn't, but that's a tough town to drive through. The roads just, and maybe because I've drove through Chicago so many times, but that and San Antonio are tough cities to drive in, my opinion. But I had a good time there. We found a little brew pub there that made an excellent hamburger. And where we were staying was nice, but it was to get to the convention center was very difficult. But I had a good time in Pittsburgh. I was in Columbus this year for the Arnolds. That one's a little easier. That one made sense. The roads are mostly, north, south, east, west.
Yeah.
So that town didn't confuse me. Yeah, there you go. Delivered in Pittsburgh for 6 years. Yep, you would know. All right. Well, I think I hear Mama moving.
Okay.
So everybody enjoy the weekend. Be safe. I am going to buy some extra Guinness for Monday, just in case I was wrong. And go out happy.
Yeah.
All right, now how do I get out of here?
Take care, McBean.
Jane, how do you stop this crazy machine? Leave studio. There we
Technical
go.
issues. Yeah, exactly. Leave the studio. So simple. I have to go to a ranch in the path in Arkansas on Monday, so I guess I'll see the eclipse in full effect while tending animals. Okay, that will be something. Take care, McBean. Stay safe. Solar eclipses are really fun when they happen. I have seen only 2 in my life. But it was years ago. Great opportunity, as long as the skies are clear. Yeah. If they are cloudy, you won't see much. I have seen what they call moon eclipse. That is pretty cool too. I agree, Idaho. I have heard some of the conspiracy theories about the eclipse. All I can say is, wow. Yeah, I agree with you about that, Diggs. I agree with you. There are a lot of conspiracy theories about a lot of things these days. Solar eclipses are a natural phenomenon. But it's rarely you see solar eclipses here. You can if you're lucky, if they happen at all here. But it seems to be more common in other countries than here. Diggs, I agree with you about that one. No, I don't think that would be something like that, Diggs. It's kind of interesting to see the chickens go back into the coop or to roost as if nighttime is approaching. Yeah. So they do that. Idaho, it's supposed to be mostly clear, I guess. Animals got to be rooted, and they don't care what weather does. Okay, Rebel. For some reason, I can't see any new comments in the chat except mine. Weird. It happened to me sometimes too. Yes, the animals and crops still need to be tended. I agree with you about that one. Hey, Lisa. Good to see you. How are you doing? Yeah, I agree with you about that, Tammy. Hey, dear love survival. Good to see you, brother. No, I think we are on the more of the chill and chat now, my friend. So you didn't miss anything. I'm good. How are you? Well, I'm doing good. Actually, I had a hike with a church today, a 3 kilometer long hike, which was nice. With snowshoes, my first time using it. That was fun, actually. Like the church called it more like a pilgrim hike, which was really nice and cool. And the national park we were hiking in were 1.5 meter snow. Be right back. Have to ask some questions here to figure out what's going on with dinner. Okay, Diggs. With snowshoes, now that's a workout. Yeah, that was not that bad, but it was fun. And I thought it would be more complicated to walk with them, but I had no problems. But I agree, it's a good workout. And I actually have had in mind to buy me snowshoes, a couple of them. I only need a pair. I'm having homemade ham and potato soup for dinner. Okay, Shannon, that sounds good. Uh, the snowshoes I had was really easy to put on, which I like. Um, and you could adjust the length. It depends on your what size you had on your foot, so you could change it and adjust it after your foot so it fit well. That was really nice. Function on those snowshoes. I don't have any myself, but those I borrowed, which was nice. Those I used had not aluminum frames. They were plastic, uh, tough, robust plastic frame. I went a couple of times on a hike wearing snowshoes. They had aluminum frames. Yeah, there are so many different models in snowshoes. I can see if I can find any. If I can find yeah. I'm gonna show not that one. That was the wrong button. I'm gonna show you guys. The ones I used was similar to this type. Similar, but the ones I had this one in the front, and but the difference here is I had only 4 of these spikes under it. So, and yes, they were yellow. I had, but I would like probably a different color instead of yellow. Maybe paint them white or what, or something like that, probably. I have no idea, Diggs. I don't think so. Those look like good ones. Yeah. They were very lightweight, in my opinion. Not hard to walk with either, so that's good. So now I had in mind I need to buy a pair of those. Well, snowshoes in general, and see if I can. Yeah, I agree with you about that one. Oops. I never heard about yak tracks before. Digs. Ah, yak tracks. And I get there are snowshoes in different. They have different price tags. Um, and I got the advice not to buy snowshoes under 100, I don't know, 1,000, because they will not last that long. Um, okay. Jack tracks are easy slip over the shoe crampons for walking on us. Okay, yeah. Okay, prepare for the ages. No problem. You have to walk the dog. A dog cannot wait. I'm gonna check if that is what I think it is. Ah, they look like that. Okay. They look like snow chains for shoes. I haven't seen those before, so snow. Well, actually, most things I need to remember. Important things. I went, and Tammy says, I went out, cleared YouTube, and came back in, and I can only see my own comments. So if anyone is talking, sorry. That's weird, Tammy. That's weird. Hey, Shawnee. Good to see you. Okay, got dinner figured out. We are ordering out for our change. Okay. That sounds good, Diggs. Let's see if I can. I can only see Tammy on the StreamYard side, but not the YouTube side. Yeah, probably. Yeah, she's. Let's see. Yeah, she's on Gil's chat. Yeah. What the last thing I written down? Yeah. That is the last thing I've written down at the moment. Yeah, that might explain the thing. Yeah, Gil, he co-streaming from my, so that might be the problem. I can't shop without a shopping list. I usually do that sometimes, especially if I come back home from work and too tired, and I usually make a shopping list on it. Gil left his run while he was babysitting the grandkids. Yeah, that's true. Tammy says, thanks, Diggs. Sorry, a blunt moment. I'm in the correct chat now. Yeah, you are. Well, it's not easy when you are in the wrong chat. Well, you are on. That explains everything. Yeah, right. Tammy, now you are in the correct chat. So now I can see you. And even Diggs can see you. I was in 3 channels chats a few moments ago. Yeah, that's a lot of chats, my friend. 2 phones and the TV. Okay, that works. Channel multitasks. Yeah, she does. Cold and rainy and depressing this week. Well, it will be better, Tammy. And now starting my laundry. Yeah, I did my laundry today. But anyway, okay, it's not that. I might even bring the new kayak too. I would like to have a canoe, or I had in mind to buy one someday when I can afford it. I'm getting a sit-down pedal kayak. Okay, that's cool. Kayaks are pretty expensive. But it depends on the model and what you prefer. I would like to have one in metal. A friend got a kayak and tried to turn it over and back and almost drowned before I could get him upright. Too funny. Well, that needs some practice. The kayak itself is 2,500. Yeah. Okay. I'm getting to 4 competitive kayak bass fishing tournaments. That sounds cool. When is this kayak bass fishing tournaments? When is that, summertime or in the springtime? Yeah, it takes a lot of practice. But when you getting hang of it, it's easy. Need me to come up and explain? Please do. My brother and my sister built sit on tiny paddle boats from scrap. My brother had a knack for making something from nothing. My sister still has hers. Okay, that's cool. That is really awesome when you can build something like that from scrap and make it work. That's the tricky part. And besides, a canoe or a kayak is a good item to have, actually. That gives you a lot more options. I have been canoeing a lot when I was a kid. Not much as I got older, but when I was younger, and every summer we were canoeing, me, my brother and father, and my cousins and my uncle. And we were gone for 1 week. So that was fun. And I like canoeing, actually. It's quiet. Hey, Diggs.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, awesome. I was just going to explain that whole kayak bass tournament thing here real quick.
Yeah.
Before dinner gets here, anyway.
Yeah.
I actually do have a kayak now. It's a sit-in paddle kayak, which will work for that. Very cheap. herein lies the problem with it, though. I'll be going in at a massive disadvantage.
Yeah.
Because if you're paddling, you're not fishing. And when you enter these tournaments, you only have 8 hours. So I'm losing a ton of time trying to get from one point to another point. Like, let's say I'm not catching anything over here, and I want to go to another spot on the lake, even though it's a short paddle away. As soon as I have to put down the fishing rod to paddle over because you can't troll. Trolling is so every time I grab that paddle, I'm losing fishing time. So that's why I'm getting this, because I can just, once I get the kayak moving, get pointed in the direction I want, I can actually drop the controls, pedal, and fish on the way there.
That's awesome.
So I'm not losing any time. And that's one thing I found with these tournaments. It's a lot about time management. And in order to get some of the results that you want, the sit-in paddle kayak isn't really the way to go unless you get on them from the get-go. But if you don't get on it, you have to move around to try to get these things caught.
Yeah.
So, yeah, talking about curtains, I need one here. I had a shade. I had a blind here, and the blind died. Never got around to getting another one yet. That's why when I do when and if I do live streams, I do them when it's dark out, so you don't get that.
Yeah.
But and as I said, I'm kind of I alluded to it earlier. I have a working name for it, but I don't want to put that out over the airwaves yet. But I am working on my own magazine too. An online magazine, outdoors related.
That's cool.
And it's not just going to be kind of pigeonholed. It's going to be. I don't know if you ever heard of a publication called the Backwoodsman.
That's not sounds familiar to me, no.
Okay, the Backwoodsman here is in the States. I do know that they're international, but the international is kind of hit and miss on who sees it and who doesn't. But here in the States, you can go to most newsstands and get it, or bookstores that still sell magazines, and they kind of cover everything, historical stuff, but it's all kind of the quote unquote old ways to do things, and mine's going to be kind of a mixture of that along with some new ways. A little bit of everything. Let's put it that way. It's going to be kind of like an outdoor variety magazine of sorts.
Yeah.
But my idea is I'm writing the whole thing myself right now until I can get it off the ground. And once I get it off the ground, can get it standing on its own, then I may start asking people if they want to make contributions to, like write an article, maybe have a column, what have you. But since it's an unproven commodity, I have to get it proven first, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yes, he has. Uncle Al is actually very familiar with the Backwoodsman. He's probably been reading it longer than I have, and I've been reading it now for about 7-8 years. So,
yeah.
But
I follow Uncle Al.
See, Backwoods Home is a newer publication, but is fairly close to that because that kind of goes back to basics. Backwoodsman goes back to basics too, and along with going back to basics, one of the things it likes to do is recount mountain man history, which is something you don't really get too much here in the States anymore. Nobody really you look at the frontiersmen. You got your big like Daniel Boone, all Revolutionary War guys. Backwoodsman kind of goes into the trappers. Some of these people have the journals from the trappers. We're going to get back into the whole journaling thing.
Yeah.
And the trials and tribulations that these guys went through. Whether it's a good year, whether it's a bad year, how they made their sets, their trap sets, what they traded, what they carried with them, because their journals were very intricate.
Yeah.
By reading the journals, they knew where they were historically. They would keep track of their inventory, what they would carry with them on them at all times. And we're talking back in, we're back before cartridge rounds and rifles. These guys carried black powder.
Yeah.
So what they carried in their possibles bag, what they carried in their pack basket, because a lot of these guys would use a pack basket and not a backpack. Hey, thank you, Shannon. Yeah, and self-reliance, I have to look into that one. I haven't found that one yet, but I'm going to look into that one as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's a lot of things that can be gleaned from there. And if you think about what they were carrying to today's situation, you could find something that's modern that parallels with what they carried back then on almost everything.
Yeah.
Hope I'm not driving you too crazy yet. So what have you been up to?
Well, working, training, making videos, live streams, hiking today with a church.
Yeah, I was actually hoping to get a hike in, but right now we just went through a major rain spell. I can go hiking, but we're gonna be in ankle deep mud all day. That's no fun.
Yeah.
And see what I have to do is I have to figure out, like you're using snowshoes today.
Yeah.
I need to figure out a way to make some kind of platform I can walk, not platform, but something I can put in the ball of my shoes like a snowshoe, where I float on top of the mud.
Yeah.
Yes, I see Oops brought up fur fishing game. My dad still reads that, and there's some good information there, especially for some things like ginseng. One thing you can get from Fur Fish and Game magazine here in the States is the trade value. There's some people that do harvest ginseng, and they'll give you the value of that ginseng by the pound. Dried pound, not wet pound, dried pound.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go, Oops. Talking about chicken of the woods, there's a state park here that they actually, a lot of state parks in Pennsylvania don't want you removing stuff. But when it comes to gathering like chicken of the woods and some other fungi and this and that and the other thing, they will actually have events where you can go out and do it. And even if they're not having an event, it's like, yeah, go ahead. Just get it out of here.
That's good.
So, hey, yeah, if they're giving it away for free, hey, grab it up.
Yeah, if you can do it for free, that's good.
Now, what are you from, Oops? I'm keeping an eye on the chat here too. So yeah, because we have ginseng here. We do have ginseng here in southwestern Pennsylvania. It's sporadic in cases. Another thing I did found out is that there's a invasive plant that came into Pennsylvania, which is quote unquote rare everywhere else. Okay. You're in Midwest Tennessee. You might have it there. Look on if you're close to any major hills and valleys, look on the north slope, close to the bottom, especially around oak and maple trees. That's where we have it here. See you, Ray.
See you, Ray. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Yeah, see you next time, Ray.
But where was I at? Yeah, hold on. Now where was I at? But yeah, some of the things that I'm kind of going into this magazine is just some things I've been passionate about, and I do have a plan if it doesn't work with all this writing I'm doing.
Yeah.
Is if I can't get the magazine off the ground, I still have all these articles and the Foxfire books, which I have the full collection of Foxfire books now. That's pretty much how they started. It wasn't exactly an article; they're like essays that are written by a group.
Yeah,
and they made a big compilation of them for each year. That's how the Foxfire books started. So I can do the same thing.
Yeah. I think you should do.
But I think what I'm going to do is dinner should be here in about 5-10 minutes. So I'm going to jump on back down, but at least want to explain the bass fishing thing to you and why I'm getting so expensive.
Thanks for explaining it.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, and as I said, it's only it's $2,500 for the kayak. Wait till you see the electronics I'm putting on the thing.
Yeah,
I'm looking probably about another $2,500 in electronics too.
Yeah,
but if you want to be competitive,
yeah,
I'm not saying I don't prep anymore, but I kind of keep that on the down low anymore because I don't really want to put out there what I have and what I don't have. That's just me. Which is nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just kind of focusing on other things because with the prepping, yes, I did get some satisfaction out of it. But I found, how can I put this? I found I was doing it to make other people happy, and I was constantly worried about something, so I was never really happy myself. Now I'm doing what makes me happy, and people kind of scratch your head over it. So, what can you do?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly what Tammy said. Exactly what Tammy said. But I'm going to go ahead and jump on down, and you have a good evening. I'll still be in the chat, but you have a good evening, man.
Yeah, thanks. Just frying butter mostly, but teriyaki in other ways too. Okay. Teriyaki sauce. How are you doing, Nicole? I hope everything is okay with you. It was a while I saw you. I need to check up those Foxfire books. Okay, I'm gonna check a look later. Those Firefox, the Foxfire books looks really nice actually. And there are a lot of them too. And most of them are numbered, which is nice. The Foxfire Book of Appalachian Cookery. That sounds really nice too. And the revised edition too. Foxfire's Wood Stove Cookery. Okay, cool. Okay, Diggs, I'm gonna check that. Link up. Ah, that looks like a really nice canoe kayak actually. Yeah. Really nice. Each book talks about multiple skills. That sounds good to me. Those books seems to be very useful. I like books that are useful. Hey, Howie. Good to see you. No, I believe it is 12 of them. I opted for the 10.5 foot for the maneuverability. I'm sacrificing a little bit of stability over the 12 or 14 foot kayaks, though. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, if you have good stability, you have less maneuverability. But the canoe looks really nice. How does your potting goes, Howie? Uh, They are like all the kayaks like them. They do have some drawbacks too, but the positives far outweigh the negatives. Yeah. Hobie, Native, and Bonafide are all great kayaks as well. Good to know. I'm going to make a vid and a short on the next round of up putting. Okay, that's cool. That's cool, Howie. That's really cool. Bookmark that. So when do you have the vid and short up, Howie? It is very cold, so record cold temps I am trying to avoid. So can't plant it in the ground for 2 more weeks in May. And my trade, I don't want root bout. I agree with you about that, Howie. It's better to wait. I hope the temperatures will go up a little bit more so you can do it. I agree with you about that, Howie. Waiting means potting. And dinner is here. I'm gonna let this run. If you're still here when I get back, see you all then. If not, catch you next time around. Yeah. Bon appetit, my friend. I have pots full and can't wait to get them all in the ground. This year is not an early year for hot weather crops. No, it's not. It is definitely not. we will be on the plus side next week. So good year for cool weather crops, and I have lots of that in the ground. Okay, what's cool kind of cool weather crops do you have in the ground now, Howie? Yeah, I got a few weeks left before ground plant, it seems. Okay. Okay, oops. I got peas and snow peas up to my eyeballs. Yeah, I bet you have, oops. Lettuce, kale, beets, peas, radish. Okay, that sounds good. That sounds really good, Howie. No problem, Timmy. It's good to see you, and thanks for stopping by. No problem. Keep an eye on the kiddos. That doesn't hurt. Fava beans, spinach, chickweed. Okay. Well, guys, I think I'm going to wrap things up now, guys. It's almost 4 hours, so mid-May I will direct so cukes, melon, squash, all kinds. Okay, that sounds good, Howie. Take care, Howie. Stay safe. You're welcome. Oops. You're very welcome, Idaho. Thank you guys for stopping by. I appreciate it. And stay safe, stay vigilant, stay prepared. And yeah, I will, Idaho. And you have a great weekend too. Until I see you guys next week, same time, same channel, same day, same time. God bless you, my friend. God bless you all. You're welcome. Bye, everyone.